Alright, I'm done. I just punched my drink. Luckily, it's sealed. Are you okay, buddy? You hungry? No! 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 No!
Less politics, more gawk.
Thank you. My girl cock is yours for the taking, but you'll have to find it first. I left every cock I own in one piece. And so, girl cock connoisseurs from all over the world set sail for One Piece. The treasure that would make their dreams come true. Yayo, dreamin', don't give it up, Luffy, dreamin', don't give it up, Zoro, dreamin', don't give it up, Nami, dreamin'. Okay then. I come in. Hang on, I'm gonna fix the boopa. Even if it kills me. Especially if it kills me, actually.
No, that
If it doesn't kill me, it doesn't count.
But live. How did it happen? That doesn't make any geological sense. What happened? Who built these mountains?
The mountains were built during the war.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is this on the off the cuff lore?
Yes.
Good.
Why are you small? Explain your smallness. Ah!
No! I was not thinking when Koga saying that.
I'm sorry. Yes.
This is cursed bingo stream card. Non-consensual parentheses problematic is mentioned.
I'm sorry, Fred. I'm sorry. I could send me at the menu to kick its ass. Yeah! Yeah, you know what? You know what? Yeah, nah. Get back here, motherfucker! Oh no! Ooh.
What?
The mail I got is sexy. Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
it is.
Is it lingerie? Is it
No,
lingerie?
no.
Up top, left
No,
side.
it's a leather.
Ooh.
Oh. So, it is lingerie. It's
I
only a leather
mean,
collar.
Yeah.
Get good because people were complaining about the difficulty, but they were complaining about the difficulty on like the hardest levels, saying, "Oh, it's too far, it's too hard, it's unbalanced." Like, no, genuinely, you're playing on the hardest difficulty, and you're like in your level 20s. Like, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah. Like, I think one of the main issues with this game, like, by the way, I'm saying this to someone who loves this game, by the way, and thinks that, like, it can go very, very hard. I'm getting all up inside her guts. Oh, Shodan, you're so tight. I have to crawl to get around in there. No, brain, no, that's illegal, brain, not. It's just this segment because Magic is new to teach how to use it. It has been 6 hours since we got Magic. It has been 6 hours of game time since we got Magic. Magic is not new to us right now. I feel like magic. Well, Maeve has a uvula, so I mean that's something that's like slightly different. I don't think Maeve can like stick her tongue out though. No, Maeve cannot stick her tongue out. All right, get in. Why is there a modeled uvula? Why is there a modeled uvula? Help me, I'm scared. It's like I'm dying. Ah!
Indeed, I have. Come.
Oh no! Oh no, she fucking exploded! I'm gonna get framed for the murder of the queen! Okay, I have bad news. The queen exploded. Alright, bye! I haven't done a community night in like... I'm a dog. Fuck you, I'm not a dog. Fuck you, I'm not a dog. Fuck you. Fuck you, I'm not a dog. You're a dog. Bruh. 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 What? How many params are... How many params? How many parameters are you? How many parameters do you take up? See, this is why, like, I need to do more stuff with Pack so I can know the evil when it comes. Oh, but because we got fired, my walkie-talkie's gone. Damn it.
Yeah, I ordered a new walkie-talkie and flashlight set. When the ice cream truck comes, we'll get it.
Okay. Alright, okay, maybe we should stick together so we can recover bodies, though. Just simply do not be taxed.
Simply evade America.
No! Do not advocate tax evasion on my stream. Habwa! Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Lennon is here again. Hello, Lennon.
I'm here. Hello.
Yeah.
Splish!
Yep, knew
That's
that was
fun.
coming. Oh, I don't have a lot of drink. Shit. Gotta ration it out. Hi, Hal. Hi, Jax. So, last night, what do you roll? Roll. Aha, joke's on you. You're playing Cyberpunk. Roll a d10 and add your reflex, you fool. No. So last night, the party ran into a changeling. It's
They
not
did.
your standard D&D changeling. It is specifically my flavor of changeling that I wrote when I was in a depressive spiral. And you know what? I'm really glad they came out as good as they did. Lennon, what do you think of my changelings?
I think they're a little bit horrifying.
Kind of the point.
They're a little bit scary. I like them.
Yep. So they're gonna be playable.
Amazing. Do you know who doesn't like your changelings though?
Who doesn't like my changelings?
Keith. Keith doesn't like your changelings.
I
feel
why.
I feel see that's the question though. I feel like there's some history about Keith that we missed in last night's session.
Uh-huh.
I feel like maybe Keith has had some run-ins more than once of these creatures and is going a little batshit crazy about them.
Oh god. Maybe he dated one
Imagine if
once.
you were like the only person who believed that like a shape-shifting mythical being was real. And you had not proof, but you had witnessed it. To you have proof.
Yeah.
But you're the only one who knows. That would be
Yeah.
that would drive even a monster mad.
Yeah. Maybe someone Keith was dating got replaced by a changeling, and it was like for like months or years at a time.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it. See, I'm thinking that it was like more than once. Like it happened once, and then for him to react the way that he did, it probably happened again. Possibly like even just the same changeling fucking with him a second time. But I don't know. What's the lore on changelings? Why would they do these things? What are they about?
Good question, Lennon. So as I mentioned before, when I was in a depressive spiral, I wrote I wrote 3 pages of lore.
Hell yeah.
And I'm going to put them on the screen. Give me a second. I should probably also put my music on. My brain is going to melt out my
Liv,
ears.
you should add a dice spot.
I should. Help me find a dice spot that doesn't use AI. Alright. And I'm just gonna share my screen for you, Lennon. Alright. So should I just read this? I guess I'll just read this.
Yeah, go for it.
Creatures born of chaos, the origins of changelings are unknown. Some claim them to be a queer sort of fae able to live outside the Feywoods. Others claim they are a secretive race of people patronized by the trickster, who was once a changeling themselves. Some claim... By the way, lore about the god of chaos, by the way, that they're a changeling. Some claim it to be a curse akin to vampirism or lycanthropy, and yet others claim to be a sort of demon brought from a hellish realm of chaos. Changelings themselves will never give a consistent answer, if they are even aware of their origins. Changelings are often born to seemingly normal families, whether through a curse or ancestry, and many aren't even aware of their true nature until it is awakened within them either through accident, trauma, or being brought into the fold by another changeling, leading to legends of being a changeling being a transmissible curse. Once a changeling is made aware of their true nature, their true form comes to the surface. Changelings stand at all normal humanoid sizes, though most are medium-sized creatures. Their countenance often reflects their mental states, a changeling in their true form often having their emotions literally on their face. Others, especially those who awoke through trauma, may have extra facial features, or missing ones. For example, a changeling whose anxiety around others may lack a mouth in their true form, unable to speak with their own voice, while a changeling who has paranoia may have additional eyes to look behind them. All changelings have skin that appears pale and alabaster white, usually with white hair and pale eyes that have no discernible pupils or irises, though exceptions to this exist amongst the species well known for being masters of their own shape. Changelings are, of course, able to take the forms of others by building a persona. To build a persona, the changeling needs to hear at least 1 minute of the target's voice, 1 minute of visual study. Gaps such as what someone looks like under clothing can be estimated by the changeling, but a definite issue if the changeling were to disrobe. Up to a day of study of behavior and mannerisms. A changeling can form a persona with just a visual, but a disguise would be woefully incomplete, potentially missing an accurate voice or mannerisms. Alternatively, a changeling may ingest a portion of the victim and create a fully formed persona that way. Most changelings adopt this method prefer blood, as this type of persona is temporary, with its duration equal to 6 hours per pint of blood consumed. Consuming the flesh of the victim can create a permanent persona, but amongst changelings, taking someone into yourself so fully is considered taboo, and irreversibly changes the changeling as the persona is permanently added to their mind. I'm into the weird bot thingy. It turned out to be super predatory, so I got rid of it. A persona is a term changelings use to refer to their forms. A researched persona is the persona crafted by studying, stalking, and eventually becoming the victim. These personas are the ones changelings are the most proud of, as they require days or even weeks of effort for the changeling to adopt the target's appearance, mannerisms, speech, and behavior. Unfortunately, these personas are also the most likely to be seen through. The longer a changeling studies the target, the more effective the disguise, but there will always be small mistakes due to mortal error. A blood persona is something used when a changeling has easy access to the blood of a target, and does not have time to create a full research persona. Changelings have a second set of retractable teeth they will use to extract blood from a target. These teeth are hollow, fragile, and take time to regrow, and they're not fit for use in combat. Acting as syringes, these teeth can be used to siphon blood into a special organ within the changeling. It is unknown how much blood a changeling can hold at any one time, and 1 pint of blood allows a changeling to adopt a persona for 6 hours. Consuming the flesh of a humanoid is the most taboo method, and creates a flesh persona. Flesh personas are permanent, and indistinguishable from the original. By creating a flesh persona, a changeling takes on the very essence of the creature into itself, binding it into them in their entirety. Creating a flesh persona changes the changeling. Sorry, that's a spelling error. Creating a flesh persona changes the changeling on a base level, altering them in a way that can cause them to lose themselves if they're not careful, or if they're not strong enough of will. Many changelings will go their entire lives without creating a flesh persona if they can help it. When a changeling takes up the blood or a flesh persona, their personality shifts to match the victim, which is what happened last night. And their minds absorb the victim's memories from the last month. When the changeling's own personality is dominant, motives and goals remain the same. While the changeling's own personality is dominant, motives and goals remain the same. I think this is a mistake. Yes, yeah, though this is an error on my part. Sorry, I was not in a super great place writing this, so mistakes can exist. While the victim's personality is dominant, motives and goals remain the same. Some changelings describe it as a switch they can flip in their heads, while others describe it as being overtaken by the personality of those they're imitating. The only way to tell someone is a changeling using a blood or flesh persona is when they break character, but by then is often too late, as this breaking character usually involves assassination, sabotage, or whatever goal the impersonation had in the first place. The best way to expose a changeling using one of these personas is try and get information from before that month the changeling could not piece together from other parts of the victim's memories, or from a journal or other object kept by the host. This has issues, however, as the suspect may just be forgetful, as mortals tend to be. I have a ready critique. You could use alter some other instead of changing the changeling, because there's two others say, yeah, that's fair. So, Lena, what do you think now that you have like the full thing of how these people work? Lennon?
I'm here. I'm just thinking. Are they just like? Hold on. Are they like just individual nomadic people? Like, are they?
They are
Do they
individuals.
just do their own thing?
They're individuals. They don't have a society. So changelings just kind of happen sometimes.
Oh, kind of like tieflings.
Yeah, like, and nobody knows how they happen. And there's probably like a decent amount of the population that are changelings but don't know. Like I said, like I said, like up there, like literally, like when a changeling is born, like they could just be born to a seemingly normal family and just like live a life, and then like one day something traumatic happens, and it's just like and like all of a sudden they're made of wax and they're white, and it's like and they can shapeshift. You know, like, and it's like, and no one really knows. Like, it's like, hey, like, was one of their parents a changeling, and like either did not know or knew? And there's probably like a decent amount of people that probably like are changelings that live their entire lives without knowing. It's like one of those things. It's like no one really knows where they come from, which I think is like, which kind of fits the trickster in my opinion, because the trickster is an asshole. They're the patron saint of changelings, chaos, trickery, insanity, and mental illness. If like, and also they are a changeling themselves. So like if any race patronized by the changeling, like I feel like they would like really not know their origin themselves, you know? Yeah.
Do you know their origin?
I do.
Okay.
But like
You don't have to share it. I was just curious.
Yeah, like I know where they come from. But the thing is like I want it to be a thing where it's like a changeling could say anything, be like, "Oh yeah, I'm actually a fae."
Yeah, yeah.
And like are they lying? Who knows? Like, you know, like yeah, I want changelings to kind of have like their origins be multiple choice, you know? Like
Now they don't have like their own like land or place, but like
No.
do they find each other? Like is there a changeling like society? Is there like
So I imagine that there are like small enclaves of changelings where like they'll just kind of get together and like, oh shit, you're a changeling, I'm a change, like, and like because people crave community. Like that is like that's like the main thing that like stops us from going batshit insane is community half the time. So I imagine that changelings that aren't going out being assassins, they're just regular people and they probably want people to live with. And seeing as changelings are kind of seen as like a mythological monster for in most parts of Karos, changeling enclaves definitely exist. But the thing is, it's probably a town where it's like everyone there is a changeling, and they've all probably got their own favorite persona that they've created. Because changelings could just create personas. Like, they don't need to copy someone. They can just go, I want to look like this. I want to be blonde. I want to have long hair. I want to be a woman. I want to be a guy.
Hey, Liv.
Yeah?
How are you feeling about the state of the world and being a trans person?
Plead the fifth. So what would a changeling enclave call the changelings have not yet found their nature? I mean, I didn't think of that, but based on what Lyndon just said, and the fact that, whoops, I accidentally made them all trans, eggs.
I find some similarities in what you've described and how I feel about the world and its views on trans people currently.
Lyndon, I might have accidentally poured some trans angst into here. Whoops.
Yeah, you said you were having a bad day.
I was having a really bad day.
Was it that kind of a bad day?
It was that kind of bad day.
Yeah. You write what you know,
Yeah. So I kind of, so I guess the changelings are all trans, I guess. Shit.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah.
I mean, like, their own, like, gender and, like, changelings, like...
It is a decent allegory.
Yeah, I mean, changelings can literally change their, like, gender and sex, like, on a whim, so... Actually, no, their gender, sorry. Their gender identity is theirs, and, like, I imagine a lot of them are probably, like, at least, like... I don't know. I don't know whether changelings would subscribe to the gender binary. I don't know. I imagine some of them would.
I mean, well, no, their physical abilities to display gender doesn't line up with what their gender identity is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm sorry. Responding to chat. It sounds like they're all non-binary or gender fluid.
Yeah,
like regardless of their ability to change their gender, wouldn't determine on what their gender identity is. But that gets complicated because they could be born like as a cis creature.
Yeah.
But then, due to their abilities, end up not being in a cis like situation.
Yeah, I
And
imagine.
then our terms don't work anymore.
Yeah. I imagine that, like, if you were to ask your average changeling, a lot of them would probably say some flavor of gender fluid or some flavor of non-binary, but you would have a decent amount that would be like, yeah, no, I'm a guy, no, I'm a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like what their outward presentation is though, that's like for changelings, like a form is like a piece of clothing. It's a form of self-expression. So if a changeling identifies as female, but they wanna be like a big manly looking dwarf, who cares? That's how they want to present. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um yeah, but yeah, I really like my changelings, and I think they're fun, and I want to give them like an actual like race block because I want them to be playable. Um, I was talking about something before we hit the trans thing, and I forgot what it was.
Was it Changeling Society still?
Oh yeah. So I imagined that changing societies. So changelings, like like they when they're in their true form, they are
Mhm.
they're Ken dolls or Barbie dolls. Like unless they don't want to be, right? Like, but like that's like a
Yeah.
like a conscious choice on their part. Um, so I imagine like with changelings, like changing enclaves, usually like a changeling child being born in a changing enclave is probably very very rare because
Mhm.
like changelings like probably fuck a lot, but like I imagine it's like they're doing like, oh sorry God I haven't eaten yet. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit kerfuckety.
Are you trying to say that they're sterile?
They're not sterile. They're not sterile.
Okay.
Um, but like I imagine, like in a changeling enclave, most changelings are in their default form, their true form,
Okay.
and I have and like because their true form is so malleable and so plastic. I imagine that they're not able to conceive while in their true forms. But if they're in a persona, then they can because they've literally like changed their body to
Oh,
be in
weird.
a set thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Like you remember that little ball of wax that you found?
Yeah.
Like changelings are like that all the way through. They're basically just they're basically just an animate lump of wax that bleeds and has
Yeah.
organs. Like
Gross.
it's not really a form that is capable of carrying a child.
Yeah.
So
They have to borrow the organs from a different species.
exactly, yeah. So I imagine that
Weird.
like changing enclave, having children is very very
Oh, what a
rare.
gross parasite.
A gross parasite. Don't call them a
You just
parasite.
made him a parasite.
How are they a parasite?
They literally need another species to be able to like breed and thrive.
Well, no, because if two changelings want to have a kid, and like say they're they both like humans are cute. I like humans. Let's make this one a human. They just both like shapeshift into human. But they don't need to like steal a form for this one. They could just like imagine a human in
Oh,
their
I
mind.
see. It's not necessary for them to
They
murder somebody to
yeah
take a form.
yeah
Okay,
they can
got
just
it.
make up a form if they want.
I understand now.
Yeah. Um. And yeah, so then this couple they get together. They both like they either use a persona that they've already got, or they can make one up. Remember, like personas don't need to be like murder. Like I said, researched personas exist, right? Where you're just stalking a person and like learning about them and everything like that. I imagine
But
a change
Liv,
like yes.
what if the changeling turns into like say like a lizard person and lays an egg?
That'd probably be the most convenient. But then the changeling comes out as a lizard person as their original form before they become before they awaken.
Little crocodile baby.
Yeah, they could have a crocodile baby. It'd also be
Yeah, that'd be fine. That's cute.
it'd also be really convenient because like
Or like a horrible little bird creature.
yeah. So but yeah, so like changing two changelings, they like just use the example like, oh hey, humans are cute. Let's have our kid be a human as like their original thing before they awaken. So they they turn into humans using like either a persona they make up or a persona that they already have. they fuck, like, and then the one that decides to be the one that carries it, they have to stay in a human form for 9 months, which is probably like a big sacrifice on their part. It's like a big commitment. Like, you're a species that can change your form on a whim, and it's like, okay, for 9 months I need to hold this form.
No, I'd have an egg.
Yeah, like, I imagine like there's some that are lazy and be like, oh, let's be a kenku, let's be a lizard folk, let's be a dwarf.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Fucking changelings that decide to have a dwarf kid are probably like the most patient motherfuckers.
Oh, fair, yeah.
It's like, all right, so okay, the way we do this is we need to combine our heartstones, and then we need to plant whatever comes out in the dirt, and then we gotta wait like 150 years.
Yeah, that.
Like, those are really
But
the most
the
patient changelings.
changelings are effectively immortal. Are they one of those ones?
Yeah, changelings are effectively immortal.
As
once
far as
they-
aging goes.
Yeah, once they awaken, they're effectively immortal. Yeah, because remember, their bodies are entirely malleable. It's like,
Oh.
yeah, they're not immortal because of some sort of blessing or something. It's literally because their bodies are functionally animate wax.
So if they stayed in a shape for too long, it could age and die.
Yeah. So like,
Gross.
yeah, so like if a changeling is born as a human and they live like the standard human lifespan of like 80 years and they will die of old age. It's also why changelings are a bit like squicky about like imitating old people.
Yeah.
What if that old person has a heart condition?
Yeah, that's
Now the changeling has the heart condition for as long as they're using that persona.
Do they have to mimic something of the same body type as them? Like, does it have to be a humanoid? Can they go like eat a spider blood and then be a spider for 6 hours?
I don't think so. I think it needs to be. Pardon me. I think it needs to be a humanoid creature.
So they couldn't be like a centaur, because it would have too many bits.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't think a changeling could be a Oh no, brain. No.
Just two of them, just have two changelings meld into one centaur.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there are
No.
demons in my brain.
Don't do it.
No, it's too late now.
Oh no.
Ugh.
Wouldn't the changeling be able to mimic the appearance of an old person but have the internals of a young person?
Not if it's if it's a research persona, yes. Because the changeling's not researching their organs. But like if it's a blood persona or a flesh persona, then they have to do the organs because it comes as like one thing. Like blood and flesh personas are
I see.
indistinguishable from the original, including down to their internals.
Okay, what if they want to just be a different person instead of a person they saw? Can they
They could just make someone up whole cloth.
Yeah, can they just
Yeah.
like pick and choose bits of people?
Yeah, like I said that before. Like
Oh,
I
did
said,
you?
yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, you're fine.
That'd be fun. Imagine just like trying to decide what you want to look like and just like sitting at the town square and just like picking out bits and pieces of people.
I'm gonna be honest. I imagine that's probably something that they do. Like, I imagine changeling enclaves. Like, so because
You
of
just have
like,
your buddy beside you. How do these eyes look on me?
yeah, I imagine changeling enclaves. Like, they probably because these are researched personas. They're still a changeling like internally, meaning that like they wouldn't be affected by old age. I imagine like changeling enclaves, because someone might wander into the town, they probably like generally don't walk around in their standard like bright white skin, fucking milky eyes, white hair kind of big. Like they probably do have like preferred persona. And also like if everyone looked the same, they'd probably get really like dull for them.
Mhm.
So like I imagine that
Yeah.
changelings probably do like just invent a persona for themselves, like a form that reflects how they want to be. So like a changeling, like an an egg awakens and they're in their form. They were raised in this changeling village, and like they're like, oh no, what's going on? And their parents are like, don't worry. They go back to their true forms. You just awakened. It's fine. Here, let's go on a vacation. They take them to like a nearby town and like help them like pick out like an appearance they want. That'd be like a really cool like coming of age ceremony. Like changeling parents take their kids out to like help design how they're gonna look. That'd be fun.
And then they murder somebody and steal their blood.
No, Lennon.
Okay, they're not all murderers. I get it.
Yeah.
They just
Like-
have that ability. That doesn't mean they have to use it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It sounds like research personas has been far more difficult but far more useful for espionage and assassination, since you wouldn't need the downsides of the body you're using to be sneaky. That's explicitly a thing, right? Like if a changeling needs to, can changelings be explicitly? Unawakened changelings are called eggs, for fuck's sake.
Eggs.
And they literally can just appear in just normal families.
Eggs.
Egg.
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 Egg. Lynn, I can keep this going for as long as you can.
I know, and I'm tempted to. It's enough. It's enough.
Can I change
Now we need an egg ready.
Oh god. Find me a 3D model of an egg and I will do it. Egg. Can changes be tran after awakening?
See, I feel like the words stop working.
Yeah, no, it stops working because like if a changeling wakes up one day and is like, hang on, I don't think I'm a guy. Let me try something. And then they like, make themselves be femme presenting. That's just something they can do. Like, okay, Lennon, I'm gonna say something that
okay,
you. Sorry.
May I do my argument for why
Yes.
it doesn't work?
Do your argument, and then I'll do my thing.
Yeah, my argument why the words stop working isn't because of being trans. It's because of being cis. Being cis doesn't work for them.
Yeah.
Because there's a good chance that once they awaken and move away from that whatever initial form they had, that they're not going to identify with that original sex.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like their persona that they carry when they're born isn't it's not them.
Yeah. It's something that's been molded and shaped by their parents and the society they were born in, but it's not them because they aren't part of that society. They're a changeling.
Mm-hmm. But then
trans allegory.
Being cis doesn't necessarily work because their biological sex might not be the sex that they think that they are.
No.
So they could be trans, but then turns out that they're cis.
Yeah.
Like they could think they're trans and have it turn out that they are cis.
No.
But that doesn't. The term. God damn it! I'm losing the words I want. The terms would change depending on like what their persona that came with when they were born is, and what their actual like biological, like what the changeling is. Like what their changeling form and what their persona form are. Those wouldn't necessarily align, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like also like their changeling form, they can alter that too. Like their true form reflects how they feel. So if someone wakes up, if a changeling wakes up and they go, hang on, I think I'm a girl. And then like their true form would reflect that.
Yeah. So then, are they trans or are they cis?
I think literally
it's just kind of yes.
I think like literally neither term applies. Because
yeah,
like if a changeling wakes up one day and like
we're
thinking,
applying like human concepts to
like a
literal creatures.
like it'd be really funny if a changeling like when they were in their egg phase they're trans and they're super closeted, and then they awaken, and then their true form is their actual gender, and they look down and like, oh shit, I was trans.
That's funny.
I think changeling parents would have a heavy incentive to raise their kid to maximum tolerance. They wouldn't freak out too much. So here's the thing: in a changeling enclave, yes, but if a changeling is born to non-changeling parents, or at the very least, like parents that are eggs that never came out, which like either one is possible. Like literally, changelings do not know where they come from. That's not a guarantee. Like they might get born to like super racist like fucking followers of Kissalan. And then they got to deal with that religious trauma. But like also, I'm gonna point out that I feel like trans and cis don't apply to them because, in my opinion, changeling society is kind of like a trans utopia in that. Lennon, you could disagree with me on this one because this is something
sure.
that like I believe and I don't think everyone does. The whole point of being transgender is that eventually there will be no more transgender people because it'll just be, hey, I'm a girl. All right. Like there's not like fucking stress about it. There's not like people like having to fight for your right to exist. There's not fucking like having to just fight for fucking hormones or surgery or whatever.
Well,
it's just like
there's the whole concept of abolished gender altogether.
Yeah, like that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like like in my opinion, the end goal of being trans is abolish gender to the point where if someone wakes up and says, "Hey, I'm a girl," all right, bet, and they could just go for it. Like whether they change their body to better reflect that or they keep their fucking stock parts, fine. But society as a whole is like, all right, cool, nice. Some girls have dicks. Some boys have pussies.
I don't like the idea that the trauma of transness is important. I don't think that the trauma of transness is important to being trans, but I also think that the trauma of transness is important in and of itself.
It's important because it keeps happening.
Yeah, I think it like it's not important to being trans, but it is an important thing to consider when talking about like trans people in general.
You don't need trauma.
Important to acknowledge. There we go. We're all on the same page.
Like you don't need trauma to be trans. Like I'm gonna be
No,
honest,
it just comes along with it a lot of the time.
Yeah, like I know someone who so she's trans and her family is super progressive and she lives
I know someone who's trans.
Oh my god. And so she lives with her family are super progressive. Like everyone in her family supports her and is chill with her, and she lives in a part of America that is generally pretty progressive itself, and she just oh shit, that's my phone. Hang on, this might be important.
Hi guys, how's it going? My name's Lennon. I'm a goblin. We're talking about gender. Okay, let's go. One time I transed my gender. It was pretty good. I cut off my orbs. No more orbs. That was actually a worthwhile surgery. If you guys want to know about that. Do I enjoy being a goblin? I really enjoy being a goblin. What can I tell you guys about trans surgeries?
I'm back.
Did I ever tell you about the time I got my orbs removed?
I'm calling back. I was waiting on a call from the dentist.
Why are goblins the cutest girls? We try harder.
Yeah. But sorry. Yeah, so telling the story. So yeah, I'm trying not to dox my friend here. But yeah, so so her family is super progressive, even her grandparents lives in a very progressive town and just is barely online. Literally, like, is in Discord with her friends and fucking does not use Twitter, does not use Facebook, does not use any of that social media shit, and fucking, like, has, just really supportive. Literally, she's living the best life because, like, she came out as trans, her family was like, oh, cool. Let her explore it, let her fucking go through everything, gave her all the support she needed, and literally you cannot tell her apart from a cis woman. So now she's finally like, like playing games online and using voice chat. And it's just like, nah, now she's just getting like the woman abuse, not the trans abuse. I'm so fucking jealous, but like that should be the default. You should have
Yeah, no, it
supportive.
should.
You should have supportive families, supportive fucking environments, and you should have all of the support to make your transition go as good as it is. Like, I swear to God, I want to fucking tear her vocal cords out and steal them. But like, I know that she got a tracheal shave that helped her get to where she is. Like, and it's like, and it wasn't a big deal because it's just like the part like with where she's at is like just nah, she's good. Yeah, but yeah, so you don't need trauma to be trans, but a lot of trans people have trauma because people treat us like we're fucking monsters.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh no, I did that to the changelings.
Yep, pretty much.
Shit.
You see where I came with this
Yeah.
connection?
Yeah. Yeah, so point being, changelings are good. I like them a lot. We've been talking for like fucking 50 minutes about it. I love that. Yeah, I imagine changeling culture is like, for me. There's just these towns, just like in middle of nowhere towns, where everyone's a changeling, and like you'll see kids running around that aren't changelings yet. Like, they are, because like they haven't awoken.
Mhm.
And I imagine that like, I wonder, like so like you can be brought into the fold by another changeling, but I do wonder, like if like the general culture is to let them figure it out on their own, or if it's to like sit them down and be like, no, I think like generally, I think they'd let them figure it out on their own. I imagine there's probably people in a changeling enclave that don't know they're changelings.
It's just the same egg directive.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna make the egg directive canon. Yeah, most changelings will not tell another change, like, because I feel like they could tell, right? If they come across someone who's an egg, they're like, oh. But like, it's kind of like culturally a thing of like, yeah, no, fuck it, I'm not gonna tell them. Like, unless it's like something that's like actively endangering them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I assume that if they were in like one of the enclaves, they like then they would know.
I mean, yeah, you probably see like the occasional person walking around in their true form from time to time, which would probably be like, that's weird. But like, kids are dumb.
Yeah. Well, I think like what we established previously though is that they try to like raise like everybody in that situation to be as accepting and open minded about it as
That's true,
possible.
yeah. So they probably start exploring themselves as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people,
So I feel
them
like
probably
at least in those like in the tight communities, they'd like maybe they wouldn't be directly told, "Hey, you're one of us," but they would be like they wouldn't be told that they're not a changeling.
Yeah. That's the thing.
They just figure it out as they're growing up, like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just like these people, and one day I will be like these people.
Yeah, and some like figure it out super young, and some don't figure it out till they're in their 20s. I think it's like a matter of, I think like it's not so much like clicking as, oh, I'm a changeling. I think it's more just like identifying as a changeling. Like it's probably like in the back of their head, like from birth. It's like, oh, my parents are changeling. I'm probably a changeling. But like,
Wait, do changelings have bones?
no.
Gender is not a way to make your bones invisible. Fucking what's the ad quote command?
Sorry, what?
What's the ad quote command? Because that's a good one. Gender is not a way to make your bones
I
invisible.
don't remember. You made it.
Chat, figure out what the ad quote command is. Is it quote ad?
Yeah, changelings don't have bones in their true forms. They're
oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, changelings are, oh boy.
Like, I didn't put a, what's it, citation? The thing where it tells who said it. We have 2 quotes. Oh, that's great. I love it.
Jesus Christ. Is there a way to do like a random quote?
I think you just
there you go.
exclamation quote and it gives you a random one. Oh yeah.
Alright. So like changeling biology, like I feel like I need to like get this across. So like, so a changeling who is like completely and totally like just like let themselves just kind of like relax all of their self, right? And they're just kind of like chilling in their base form. They don't got bones. So like
Don't got bones.
they don't got bones. So
No bones.
the hell is this?
Oh, let me tell you a thing really quick though.
Hmm.
There was this band called the Unicorns.
Hmm.
And they have a song called Jelly Bones. Go listen to it. It's great. Jelly Bones by the Unicorns.
Oh god.
It's good. It's a good song.
So I'm
Go
drawing.
go put that on and go rollerblading.
Yeah,
Trust me.
I'm drawing with a mouse, so forgive me.
Do a questionable substance first.
Hmm.
And then go rollerblading while listening to the Unicorns.
Questionable substance.
Yeah. Live. I feel like you might need some assistance here.
I might. A sploosh.
But I need you to at least do whatever you're doing first so I can have an
Yeah.
idea of what to do.
Okay. So this is a changeling in their base form, right? So their skin is alabaster white. It's kind of like if you touch it, it's like pliable like wax. So if you were to grab a changeling in their base form, give them a big hug, they'd kind of like squish like a Stretch Armstrong.
Okay.
And the wax is more or less like the entire way through, right? Like they are wax all the way through, and their blood kind of goes through small capillaries in the wax. And it is through flexing this wax that changelings are able to move. Basically, their skin layer, their muscles, and their bones are all one layer. And then their digestive system and their circulatory system are like inside that. So they have like a stomach, it goes up to their mouth. They poop. Actually, hang on. Yeah, actually, I was gonna say, like, because changelings can just decide a changeling could just decide that they sweat pee.
Oh.
Yeah. So a changeling's excretory system is whatever the fuck they feel like.
Okay.
What?
I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, never mind. Bear in mind, this is something that they could decide. Like, I imagine most changelings just decide,
definitely.
yeah, I grew up having a butthole and a urethra, so I'm just gonna have that.
God.
Yeah.
Right.
My daddy had a butthole, and by God, I'll have a butthole. Like, it's one of those. But, like, I imagine there's some changelings where it's like, they're going on a run, they're like, on a long distance trek, and they're like, man, I really need to pee. And then they just change their fucking excretory system, so now they just excrete their pee through their sweat glands or some shit. They just pee on the go. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like that'd be like something they would do in desperation, because they'd probably smell afterwards. Depending on how much water
I don't think anyone wants to smell like pee.
Yeah, like I said, it's like an emergency thing. I say it's a thing they can do, not a thing they do. You know what I mean? Like basically,
this isn't your Harry Potter wizards just shit themselves moment.
No, it's not. No.
Okay.
Like they'd pee out of their finger, like point and spray pee. They could do that. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, like changelings. Yeah, like
just
changelings.
a self-defense thing that children figured out.
Yeah, just pee.
Christ.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
the children can't do it, I guess. So I don't know.
Oh, I mean, if they awaken early enough, they can.
So let me get this straight. A changeling
What's
is
the
made of a
average
porous
age? Do you go
structure
over
that
that?
can engorge
I think
itself
we
by
did.
transferring blood to the area to move.
No, they don't. They don't use their blood to move. Their waxy exterior is entirely muscle fiber. Like basically, like they're muscle all the way through, but they're also kind of malleable because they're waxy. So yeah, so they've got they've got like they've got a digestive system, an excretory system. They have circulatory system, but their skin, their muscles, and their bones are all one thing. And so it's all the way through. So like think of how big a capillary is, right? Not very big. So like You know, they got blood going through everything, blah 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 blah, and because you need blood to transfer oxygen and everything, but like when a changeling like flexes their arm, they're literally just tensing the muscle. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it means that they're because they're really squishy. They can like fit in places that are smaller. I'm thinking about giving them the ability to, if they're in a area that is scaled for a creature one size smaller than them, they fight as if they're that size. Because like squeezing rules in D&D that no one ever uses when they really should.
There's squeezing rules in D&D.
Yeah, if you're in a space that's scaled for something that is like smaller than you, you have disadvantage.
Huh. That was
Yeah.
mostly a joke. I did know about them. I just actually don't know what they were.
Yeah, no one fucking uses them, and
Mostly a
it's yeah, no one uses them, and it's really fucking annoying because it's like why would you ever play a small creature? Small creatures are weak. Small creatures are shit. Like they can't move as far. Like they don't benefit from reach. They can't use gargantuan weapons. Blah 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 blah. Blah. It's like, okay, what if you go into a dungeon and there's a tunnel that's scaled for someone that's 4 feet tall? Like if you're crawling in there as a human, like you're either hunched or you're crawling. Try swinging a sword like that. Versus the halfling, who's probably just completely fine. If anything, the halfling feels more at home because it's more scaled like the fucking place where they live. Yeah?
Counterpoint,
Yeah?
because the players don't know of that, the DMs also tend to not know of that.
That's fair. I mean, I do use squeezing
So
rules, so...
the DMs don't like plan for that. That was my point.
That's fair. Thing is, though, it works both ways. Okay, so, I see, was this in your game? Where we fought a giant and we lured it into a hallway that was too small for it and we beat the shit out of it because it couldn't hit any of us? Was that yours, I see, or was that someone else? Yeah, okay. So, I might be misremembering because this was like multiple fucking years ago. But we were in a dungeon of some kind, and there was this big stone giant that was guarding a room. We lured the giant back into the hallway, and the hallway was scaled for medium creatures. The giant was squeezing in to try and kill us, and so every swing it took was a disadvantage, and we just beat the shit out of it. Literally, it could not hit us because fucking it's rolling 2 dice and taking the lowest every time. Like, I think we would have actually died if we had not done that. Like, that's the thing. If you're fighting a large creature, like, look for a way to put it into a squeezing scenario. Like, it even makes like enlarge reduce better. Like,
Yeah.
like, hey, we're in
Yeah,
a medium-sized hallway. You're fighting a medium-sized creature. All right, I'm gonna cast enlarge reduce on them. Like, it's a save from them. But like, all right, congrats, idiot. So long as I have concentration on this spell, you have disadvantage on fucking everything. Die. I don't know.
That's actually pretty clever. I've never considered that.
No. Like, it's why I like playing wizard. Like, people are like, oh, wizard, just use fireball. Like,
Literally
no.
swinging longsword in Goblin Cave moment.
Yeah, exactly. Swinging longsword in Goblin Cave moment. Yeah. Like, fucking. There's so much cool shit you could do with the utility spells in D&D that no one ever does. Because, like, well, why would I ever need this spell? I could just use fireball. It's like, alright. Or, you can make someone else a large creature and give them disadvantage because you're in a tunnel.
It's because all of us are stupid.
Yeah. This is why I play Wizard and Artificer, because you could just do shit like that.
I used to do really wacky, like, fun shit in D&D. It wasn't necessarily like well thought out things like what you just said, but I used to always do wacky fun shit.
It's why I can't stand playing a martial in D&D.
You know what, I was playing do you remember the UA for the Brute subclass for fighter?
Yes.
I had a Dragonborn Brute. And the Brute is basically just as you level up you learn how to punch harder. But I gave her Tavern Brawler. So she had You can punch harder with things you have proficiency with.
Yeah.
But Tavern Brawler gives you proficiency with improvised weapons.
Yeah.
So I started improvising all my weapons.
Mm-hmm.
With things like tying daggers to 10 feet of rope.
Yeah.
At every foot of rope.
Yeah.
And just having a dagger whip, stuff like that. I tied a rope to a battle axe and went out into an arena thing and used that in combat, where there were these large pillars that our enemies were hiding behind.
Mm-hmm.
So I would swing the battle axe on this rope, and it would wrap around the pillar and then hit the enemy behind the pillar.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like marshals have such a hard time being creative because okay, wizard. I have so
shit.
yeah, wizards. I have so many spells I could do things with. Fighter, I have one action. Like in order for me to set up like a wacky thing, I need multiple actions, or I need to have set it up before combat started. Like that's like that's kind of why I like Pathfinder more, because in Pathfinder you get 3 actions. Like, hey, I want to tie a rope around this. I want to tie a rope around this post. I want to connect this rope to this brick. And when somebody passes by this post, it triggers the rope and it drops the brick on their head. Like if you were setting up like traps and stuff in combat, you can't, because you have one action in D&D. But Pathfinder, you have 3 actions to do shit. Like one of those actions is going to be moving, unfortunately, but that still gives you 2 extra actions to do whatever the fuck you want. To be fair, is why Pathfinder marshals are better, as you know, 99% of marshals will use all 3 actions to stab. See, that's the thing. Like, Pathfinder even discourages that, but so many people are D&D brain, they're just gonna do it. Like, okay, so I play a barbarian in a Pathfinder game, and my entire thing is based around grappling, because I thought that would be funny, and I'm a giant instinct barbarian, so I count as a colossal creature at level 7. Like, literally, I'm always coming up with, like, wacky shit I can do that involve my stats. Involve my grappling abilities. Like, literally once I picked up a goblin, right, using a grapple, which did not count, which at the time the DM didn't know that grapples counted as, actually no, they don't count as an attack, never mind. This is something we actually figured out later. Yeah, grappling I believe does not count as an attack, or at least that's how we're ruling it there. So I got to pick up a goblin, and then basically because I have basically the Pathfinder equivalent of Tavern Brawler, I use the goblin as a club.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, turn 1, pick up goblin. Turn 2, like, use goblin to hit other goblin. Turn 3, throw goblin at a support structure and knock down a part of the ceiling that was unsteady.
Sometimes you just gotta hit a guy with another guy.
Yeah. Grapple is an attack in the newest revision. Well, that's unfortunate. It didn't used to be an attack. Probably just stop people doing the shit I did. But, yeah. I don't know, Lennon.
What's that?
I wish D&D was more fun.
I think D&D is fun.
But like, I don't know, the limitations for marshals is like really unfun. I'm gonna be honest, I would be less upset at the new like fucking revision shit that they're trying to push on us if they actually made marshals fun. In order to be creative on a marshal, you must be 100% creative from scratch. Being creative on a wizard just means you get to pick from an 100 ability toolbox. Exactly. Escaping a grapple is also an attack in New Pathfinder? That's fucking stupid.
What?
So apparently in the latest Pathfinder revision, they made it so that grappling and escaping a grapple are both attacks.
How is escaping a grapple an attack?
I don't know. All I know is at my table, I'm not using that rule. I'm not using that rule at my table. Like, I'm not making grappling an attack. Because I want people to be encouraged to pick up a motherfucker and hit them with another motherfucker. Hey, what's up, Dark Nightmare? We're talking about D&D and stuff. Alright.
I think we should always encourage people to pick up one guy and hit another guy with them.
Exactly. Oh,
like
Lennon,
in all circumstances.
Yeah, Lennon, also, like, we've been here for over an hour. We should probably actually, like, make a stat block like we said we would.
Yeah, let's go for it. I don't know how much I'm good at that, but
Yeah. I mean, you're good for helping my brain. You're my emotional support
Okay.
goblin.
good. I approve.
And also, I enjoy your company.
I'm doodling you a guy back here.
Oh
I don't know if
god, a
you noticed.
guy. Okay.
I'm doing
So,
a doodle of a one of these dudes.
hmm. I think they should be a aberration type creature. You know?
Okay.
What hang on. How are aberrations defined in D&D?
Fucking I don't remember.
What? Okay, so aberrations: mind flayers, beholders, aboleths, slod, really? Flumps? Creatures that exist outside of normal means completely foreign. Okay, yeah, no, I think that fits our changelings because they just kind of happen. Yeah, they spread by chest bursters. Yeah. Okay.
What?
Yeah, slods spread by chest bursters.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's actually a thing in Icewind Dale, Ram of the Frost Maiden, where when you create your character, you have to roll like a problem that your character has, and one of the potential options is you have a chest burster.
Huh.
Yeah, and basically it's like, all right, fucking find a way to cure it before it bursts out at you. And like it can happen at any point. And there's some like things, there's some events in the game that trigger the chest burster automatically and kill you.
Oh.
Yeah. Like it's actually like really kind of fun. Aberrations, more so in appearance or unfamiliar, might be described as cosmic. They don't have the record. I mean, my changelings are like, well, fucking my my changelings are weird as fuck. So I think they would count as aberrations. I think. Okay, so let's say they're aberrations. Size. I'm gonna say they could be either medium. Actually, I'll say they could be all three, depending on like what their parents were. You know, Lennon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like depending on what their parents are, they could be either small, medium. Like because if you're a changeling and your parents were halflings, they're gonna be small. But if your parents were like Goliaths, you're gonna be large. Changeling should have the option to reproduce by non-lethal chest burster. No!
Non-lethal.
How do you do a non-lethal chest burster?
You're made of wax.
Hmm. Uh... pardon me. Oh, God. Yeah, so I think they have proficiency in stealth and deception. What?
Sorry. My doodle of the changeling is become more silly than I intended to.
I love it.
I don't really know what kind of details to put into this guy, actually. It's kind of just an outline.
Yeah, I mean...
Sorry, what were you saying?
I think honestly the changeling could look however they want. Like I said, like a changeling's like internal like mental state also affects their true form. Like I said, if a changeling has like anxiety or is really shy, their true form might just not have a mouth.
Mhm.
If a changeling turns into a goblin, they get retained the goblin's natural stretchiness. Of course. I imagine, like the fucking any changeling that's a gooner probably enjoys being a goblin. I'm kidding. That's not canon. That's not canon. That's not canon. I like what Symbarum did for the system setting Duns did for dwarves. They aren't actually good at crafting or mountains, but they pretend to be so they can scam humans. I love that. I would say the changelings are aberrant then. I'm just gonna do shorthand. I'm not gonna like write it fully out. Lennon, how many personas do you think a changeling can have at any one time?
Oh god, I don't know. Probably not many.
No.
Splish.
I think like learned ones, like researched ones, there's a limit.
That
Because remember, the blood ones are temporary, and the
Yeah.
flesh ones are literally being brought into yourself.
Yeah. Like this is mechanically?
Yeah.
I don't know, 2 or 3 sounds reasonable, especially if you
Yeah.
can add to that by doing like the blood thing, because like they could just
Yeah.
like harvest somebody's blood. Have a vial of blood on them. Change
What
up
if
their
what if
face
it's like
on the
you may
go.
have a number of research personas equal to your intelligence?
+1.
Huh? Intelligence,
Intelligence
plus one?
+1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then if you don't like if intelligence mod, so then if the mod's 0, there's at least 1.
I was gonna give them a I was gonna give them a bonus to int, like racially, but that works too.
He- I gave up on my drawing.
Yeah. Can I see it?
I was sharing it with you.
Oh, you were? Oh shit.
Yeah, well, I didn't really get that far, honestly.
I'm gonna be honest, Lyndon, I kind of love that. The guy's just kind of schlubby. He's just like, hey, how you doing?
He's just a blob of wax.
He's just a guy.
Yeah.
He's just a guy.
Yeah, I
just
didn't
a
get very far.
guy. He's just a guy. I love him. I mean, do you want to see like my changeling OCs that kind of like inspired this? Like maybe that would give
Yeah,
you
sure,
like
go
a
for
better
it.
idea. So, whoop. There's also like loot items in this folder, so I have to be very careful. I used to have a DM that got really annoyed whenever someone used cropped porn for their character art. So I
Oh.
started using cropped porn for my character art. And also, like, you know, sometimes you just get like a really good character design. It's like, ah, shit, they got their tits out. You know?
Well, yeah.
So this is one. And this one is not my, and this one is just like a piece of art that I stole to use for one of my OCs.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, so like here, like, so like I would imagine like here's like your generic changeling, like she's like, you know, she's mentally stable, you're vibing, you know, just normal, you know, pale, milky eyes, white hair. Yeah. Yeah.
I had another lore question
Yeah.
about like speaking of mental stability of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about just the nature of changelings and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I feel like whether this is something that gets written down or is just something that stays in my head as headcanon, I don't care. But I feel like there must be something internally, like of their mental health that keeps them keeping an image that's coherent,
Yeah.
like something that would be appropriate, like all the parts they mimic are from the same species type thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I'm just imagining the ones that are a little bit off and then decide to mix and match from across species.
Yeah, that would be actually really fun. I mean, once again, these
Yeah.
people, like, they are entirely fucking, what's the word? Uh, they're entirely, like, they are their own species, but they can take bits and pieces from other species to, like, I imagine that would be, like, a very thing. But yeah, so chat, just to give, like, credit to the artist. So, starlightsylph.tumblr.com. This is the art that I usually use for my favorite, Changeling OC Sace. And I just kind of ripped it off of Google like a long ass time ago, and I do not know if that Tumblr still exists, but this image has been a big inspiration for how my changelings look. And then there's this one, which was an existing piece of art that I took into Photoshop and I beat the shit out of it. And this is this is a character who, so this is a changeling OC I have. She actually has oh god, what's it called? Social anxiety disorder. That's what she has. And so, as a result, in her true form, it reflects as her not having a mouth. So, like, that's kind of like the thing that kind of inspired these changelings, and that, like, one, like how they look, and two, like they like how like stuff appears on them. Also, the thing I didn't mention about Sace that, like, most people don't actually know, because she's paranoid about getting caught, because she grew up in an orphanage where she was accused of basically any crime possible, because other kids would say, well, she's a changeling, she could have just turned into us and done it. She has a third eye in the back of her head. She doesn't like talking about it, though, because it's weird. She usually wears her hair, like, up in a bun to cover it. But, like, that's, like, kind of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does that kind of give you, like, a general idea of what my changelings look like, London?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not too far off from what I was doing. Just put clothes on them.
Yeah. Offer the sad changeling a hug. A lot of my changelings are sad. Like, I'm gonna be, a lot of my D&D characters are sad. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, fucking Rhea, my fucking, like, default go-to character when I can't think of someone, she has a fucking persecution complex. In that, like, she thinks that she's done bad because she has done bad in the past, but, like, without, being really culpable for it. Like, it was not her fault. But she still believes she deserves to be punished. And that's my go-to character. So fucking, what does that say about me? I'm gonna give changing something funny. Any three stats they can increase by 1. It can't be the same stat. So they can either give themselves +1, +1, +1, +2, +1, or just +3, and then, like, okay, your other stats are kind of, like, left out in the wind. What if there's a gradient of true form the changelings actually have? The purest true form is a completely featureless cosmic horror, and you can play around with a high-level cosmic monster variant. The progenitor, the pure, which ties with insanity and intellect being something that doesn't need humanoid features. In fact, normal, well, just as changelings have features like nose and mouths, is simply and purely because of their mentality. I mean, I imagine that probably would be part of the thing. I mean, so the trickster, who is their patron deity, is, like, basically an eldritch being. So I imagine that, like, if a changeling were to get past, like, their attachment to their humanity, they probably would be able to just do that, and, like, their true form would just become, like, an eldritch monstrosity. But seeing as most changelings are in touch with their humanity, that's why they take humanoid forms. Once again, like these people are entirely dictated like by their mental state. Changelings equal Eldritch HRT. Possible for someone to roll 18, slap a 3 on, pass set or 20. No, 20 is the cap in D&D. But just because of people like you, I'm gonna put that there. There's your trans changelings. They're all going to Eldritch gender. Oh boy.
This is for stats at character creation.
Yes.
18.
Huh?
Make it 18.
Why 18?
Because they tend to do that mostly, but it also keeps you from being like fucking overpowered right at fucking first level.
But if I roll at 18 on my sorcerer and I'm playing an elf, I can get to 20 using elves plus 2 to charisma. What's the difference here?
I'm trying to place where what is the ignore me then.
No, like I'm actually because if there's a rule
No,
that says
I can't place where it's I can't place in my head where I've seen it exactly done, but I have seen it that there's the don't exceed 18 rather than 20 so that there's room to grow as a character in the game, like as an intentional.
I mean, if there is a rule to stop people from going to 20 at level 1...
I don't no, there wouldn't be a direct rule for it. It's just
Yeah. How dare you call me a dice nerd? You're a dice nerd! Yeah, like, I don't know, like, like, Lennon, if it was a rule, I would fucking, like, say, like, oh yeah, no, because I'm gonna be honest, it is a little bit rough to just be like, oh yeah, I've got 20 of my max casting stat at level 1, whoops. But, like, at the same time, if I put that limitation on these changelings, they're gonna be underpowered compared to someone who plays, say, a Wizards of the Coast changeling, or an elf. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I'm just trying to figure out what I'm referencing.
Yeah. Hank, we're talking about my homebrewed changelings from my homebrew world, and how they're basically a trans allegory. Great. Hey, if Pank wants to join us, that's on them. Most shapeshifters are queer coded. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, Pank. I think I accidentally just dumped a lot of my trans trauma into these characters. Whoops. I was not having a good mental health day when I wrote this part. 3 fucking pages of fucking lore. I want to make one of these now and have it just be like my go-to D&D character now. I mean, you know, to be honest, I play Sace a lot, so maybe. Personal trauma often makes for good game dev. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if I'm not playing Rhea, I'm usually playing Sace, so.
Splish.
No, I can't find what I was thinking
Alright.
of. I might just be mistaken.
Let's see. Oh, right.
Hi, Pank. Personal trauma is the best way to play tabletop.
Exactly.
It is. D&D's just therapy. Hopefully done in a way that doesn't cause your table companions any trauma, but
I
hey,
mean,
you
that's
know what
why
happens.
the RPG consent form exists.
That's true. Always do
We-
session 0, guys.
I feel like this is the best way to... Wait, hang on.
What's up?
Okay, so the flesh persona thing, the downside. Whenever you can make a flesh persona, roll a wisdom save. On a failure, your alignment shifts to that of the victim, and you obtain a flaw/bond/personality trait from the victim. Does that seem like that's a good thing?
Let me read it. Sorry, hold on.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I don't know about the alignment shift.
I mean, the whole point of it is that like your will is you're absorbing them into yourself, and you can't maintain your
Yeah,
own
but I
person.
feel like that's represented by the second part well enough.
Okay.
Like, because an alignment shift can, like, if you're playing in a game where somebody's strict on, like,
That's
sticking to your
true.
alignment,
That's
it can
true.
completely mess up how you wanted to play a character or related to your character.
Yeah. It sounds like an interesting feature. Is it permanent? Yes. That's kind of like that. That's kind of the thing. Like a research persona takes time, and it's not perfect. On the blood persona and the flesh persona, the DM basically needs to feed you information that makes your disguise like like memories, like behaviors, stuff like that, right?
I
But
would
like
say, like, if the alignment shift was a temporary thing, that would feel better, because then, like, maybe it's something you can, like, get used to and go, like, return back to the person you were for the most part. Like, you'll still have that permanent, like, flaw, bond, or personality trait. But it also does feel cumbersome to write out a temporary, you know?
How about that? For 1d4
Yeah,
days.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy enough.
Hmm. So changelings used to have an ability that I really like.
What's that?
Does it not even exist on 5e tools anymore? Damn it. Oh, I think this was back when Changeling were UA. Changeling used to have the ability to so the flesh persona, due to its method composition of a matrix system, exactly. So Changeling used to have an ability where they could basically invoke frighten into a creature that saw them. Basically just kind of like flip to their true form and like make like just themselves look like a hard eldritch monstrosity and induce fear in anyone that looks at them. Like basically like an AoE fear they could do once a day. I think I want to give them that back. Oh, did not mean to do that. Whoops. You think that'd be a good idea? Lennon?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be honest. I completely spaced out for like 4 or 5 minutes there.
Oh god. Alright. Okay, I'll just type it out and I'll let you know. Okay.
I'm not even sure what I was just doing. I'm confused. Hi. How's it going? I'm here. Well, okay.
Hang on, give me those.
Oh, okay, hold on. I heard this. I'm sure I heard this.
Yeah?
The fear ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had a roommate at one point who played a changeling at that point, as the UA changeling.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Trans rights.
Sorry, had to press it.
Trans rights? Trans rights.
Trans rights.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so I'll make it either an action or a reaction. As
Either
an
or a
action
reaction.
or...
Are they just Eldritch Beings?
Kind of. So basically, this isn't just like you're throwing out your true form. It's like you're making your true form look as horrific and nightmarish as possible as a defense mechanism. It's
Yeah,
like when
given-
it's like those lizards that do that neck frill thing.
Yeah, but given what you've kind of explained about like how they work and how their appearance gets shaped by like their mental health and own thoughts and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you're like I could see this going either way. Like this seems like it's like the changeling is either like showing like not either, I guess they're just showing what they truly believe themselves to be almost.
Hmm.
So if they think poorly of themselves, it's going to be something grotesque. But I can
Yeah.
imagine that if there's one that's very confident and very self-assured and like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like maybe you get the fucking biblically accurate changeling instead of
be
yeah,
not
instead of-
afraid.
no, exactly. You get a be not afraid instead of a eldritch horror.
Yeah.
Not much difference there though.
Yeah. I feel like DC 15 might be too high.
You're too high.
No, I actually haven't been able to get high in a while because of my tooth. I don't want to get infected. I don't want it to get infected.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now I gotta take edibles, but fucking edibles knock me the fuck out.
That's fair.
Um.
Yeah, that seems cool.
Yeah, and it puts you in your true form. So like, if you're in an area where changelings aren't exactly like accepted, it's like, oh, woo.
Yeah, but you could totally like, depending on what you look like, you could just straight up play into being some type of horrible demon
Yeah.
and or celestial messenger. I like these guys.
Yeah.
I'm starting to like these guys. Yeah.
Man, I wish
I'm
I could
gonna-
play one.
I'm gonna draw some fucking weirdos for you.
All right. As an action, or as a reaction to being attacked, not hit. Attacked. Reveal your true form in its most horrific. Why did I use apostrophe S? I'm stupid. In its most horrific. Everyone that can see you must make a DC 12 Wisdom save or suffer the frightened condition. This reverts you to your true form, and if used as a reaction, the attack against you fails. I kind of like this, Lemon.
Yeah.
How long are they frightened? I think. Hang on. So long as you are in your true form, the enemy must repeat the save at the end of each of their turns. And they automatically succeed if you adopt any other form. So basically, so long as you are like, you know, basically like mogging them with the true form, they have to repeat the save. But if you decide to like, you know, adopt like a new form, like basically like, oh, the guards are coming, shit, they can't see a changeling, and you just go. Well, now you're no longer scary, so they're like, okay, I got this, I got this.
Where?
Hmm?
Oh, it's just cold here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Canada, so what the fuck?
Yeah. God, man, I need to move further north. This is bullshit. I moved to Michigan because I wanted to never see the sun again, and now it's 81 degrees.
Yeah, come here. It's like, I don't know,
Lennon,
65-ish.
Lennon, fix your country.
My country?
Yeah.
I'm sorry? I mean, yeah, there's a lot wrong with it, but...
See, I
okay.
have zero leg to stand on because both of my countries are shit.
Yeah, I don't know. They...
I do want to go on a vacation to Canada and see all my Canadian friends.
Yeah, do it. Come here.
I'm poor.
Yeah.
And also, I need to get my passport, but... Do you know you need a state ID to get a passport?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, like, fuck, dude. Ugh.
Well, you should probably have that.
I gotta get my social security card updated. I gotta get my
Oh.
state ID updated. I gotta
Yeah,
get
yeah,
my
yeah.
passport updated. It's like each one of those things costs money.
I need to get my birth certificate updated again.
God, I don't even know how to do that. My birth certificate's from England, and my parents destroyed it.
Oh,
Yeah.
you might be in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Just, I don't know, pray and cry.
yeah.
And pick a god.
I choose Freya.
That's my cat.
Yeah,
My cat's named Freya.
yeah.
Just
He's
had an
the-
insane thought. Tell us insane thought.
That was the insane thought.
Mandatory.
Mandatory. So I don't think it's a matter of like changelings looking horrific. I think it's a matter of just like the way the changeling does it. It looks like their flesh peels away. They're not.
Yeah, yeah. I just think that it would be like
Yeah.
exactly what it looks like would be a reflection again of like their mental state about themselves.
Yeah. And also like if you're in the middle of a fight, if your true form reflects your mentality, then like if you're in a fight and you're angry, you know, that's gonna reflect that too. We see aberrations that
aberrations?
literally
Oh, go
inject
ahead.
themselves into your head and replace your brain, and stuff that hot. And that stuff that is made to mess with mortals, but they're aberrations that fuck with celestials and fiends. Are there immortal threatening aberrations? I don't think so,
Ooh.
because I don't think so, because like mind flayers do not fuck with the gods. Like if like a deity is like in play, mind flayer colonies will shut the fuck up and go dark.
Okay, but imagine a celestial xenomorph.
I mean, true. Very true.
That'd be cool.
Very cool.
Like not a celestial xenomorph. Well, like something that scale of a xenomorph would be cool.
Yeah, yeah. No, that
Or
would
the
actually be
like the equivalent.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a thing though, because like deities in D&D, I mean, like I don't want to use Baldur's Gate as an example, but like it is canon. Like the fact that like a deity could like look at a mind flayer and go, "Ah, got yourself seramorphized, did ya?" Snaps fingers. They return to normal, and there's no control of the elder brain over them at all. Like
I want a thing that infects the gods now.
yeah, yeah.
I want like a mushroom deity that infects other deities.
Oh, that'd be fun. God, what the fuck is wrong with me? What the fuck is wrong with me?
What?
Why did I read the thing of inject themselves into your head and replace your brain? My first thought was fucking hot.
I don't know.
What is
I don't
wrong
know.
with me?
Too much internet porn.
Not enough internet porn.
You've been looking at too many dicks on the web.
Look, those dicks need to go into ears, all I'm saying.
Face hug a dragon.
Face hug a Oh, okay. So there is actually one, oh god, where is it? Please tell me I still have it. Yes. So there's one thing that I really, really wish I'd come up with, and I was in the middle of coming up with it, and then I Googled it, and realized someone had already done it. Hey, what if a dragon got raised by hags?
I don't know that I like that.
Yeah. Like, I saw this and I thought it was so good. I was so mad that I didn't come up with it. I was so mad that I didn't come up with it. Like, I am going to be honest. So this guy, the guy put this out, the guy who made this is a YouTuber. He said that this is basically available for anyone to use. And like, God, I really wish that like, I really want to just implement these into Karos as just like, because remember, like dragon eggs are inert because like, you know, like the eternal flame is gone. What if a hag stole one of these? Stole one of them?
Mm-hmm.
That would actually be really fun.
Yeah.
Hag dragons, or haggons is what I'm going to call them, is created by powerful
Haggons.
hag covens. The hags enact a ritual using a dragon egg of any variety, create a twisted abomination, much more dangerous than any true dragon. Once the ritual is complete, the egg hatches and a hag dragon wormling is born. They have some features reminiscent of the dragon's egg's original species. They are simply a vestigial remnant of the creature's original form. Unlike other dragons, hag dragons do not age with the passage of time. That would theoretically remain as wormlings forever if it weren't for the uncanny magical abilities they possess. Hag dragons can only grow by absorbing the remaining years of other creatures, by making use of their breath weapon. They breathe time, Lennon!
They breathe time?
Yes!
That's wild.
By making use of their breath weapon, they not only cause other creatures to age rapidly, but allow themselves to grow incredibly fast. Unlike many other creatures, dragons only seem to get more powerful as they age, so as the hag dragon increases its age, it becomes incredibly dangerous in a short amount of time. Many hags seek to exploit this trait by keeping hag dragons young and easy to control. If it was a hag dragon is capable of breaking free from its creators, it often does so in a violent fashion if it was not treated with respect. And they can make covens, too. Lennon,
Wild.
I love these fucking things.
Yeah, that's great.
They could just literally, instead of breathing out, they inhale. And they just literally inhale the time you have left in your lifespan.
That's
They just
horrible.
go, they just go,
I don't want that.
yeah, like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, like, I do want to release Karos as a book eventually, but I wanted, like, hey, like, there's all these dragon eggs that, like, will never hatch. Like, well, what would happen if, like, different people got their hands on them? And, like, hags getting their hands on them would be fun.
You could take inspiration from it and do, like, a series of similar things.
I might do. I do like the time breath thing, but I feel like that might be too on the nose. That's, like, the main thing of them.
Yeah. I mean, you could do something that has a similar effect that isn't time breath.
Yeah. Maybe it's just, like, sapping life force kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
Time breath is pretty cool, though.
Yeah. Alright, so as far as, like, stat blocks go, let's see. So, changelings, creature type aberration, creature size small, medium, or large. They get stealth and deception as their natural disguise. Persona shift, one action shift into a persona. You may have a number of research personas equal to your int mod plus 1. Enter a blood persona for an amount of time equal for 6 hours per pint of blood stored, consumed, or enter a flesh persona indefinitely. So, like, I feel like for a changeling player, that's, like, gonna be one of the things. It's like, all right, like, we need to replace. We need you to disguise as this guy to get into this thing. All right, I'm going to study him, or if you need to do it quickly, it's like, okay, I'm going to have to kidnap this guy and drain his blood, but like, if that still has issues, or if it's like, okay, no one's gonna miss this guy, I'm gonna eat him. But, like, each one of them has drawbacks and benefits. The research persona, you don't need to, kidnap someone and drink their blood. But, like, it's got, like, weaknesses. Blood persona, you gotta keep a guy alive, drain his blood, and you also only get their memories from the last, like, month or so. Flesh persona, you run risk of losing who you are. I just realized something, and I love your stat blocks forever. You aren't afraid of the large player character. You know how fucking hard it is to find someone who's willing to make a large player character stat block? Like, I'm gonna be honest. I don't see the reason to not have a large player. Like, okay, so the one reason I can see is, like, if you're large, then you get, like, then you could, like, you have trouble fitting into medium-sized spaces, which is, like, most spaces, and you also have issues wielding smaller weapons, but you also gain access to larger weapons, like, right? But, like, and it's like, and on the one, and also, like, reach is a thing, right? Like, so, like, I could see that being a thing. But, like, at the same time, there's so many classes that just make you large temporarily. If Wizards of the Coast is so scared of fucking large characters, why give us so many abilities that make us large? You know what I mean?
It's because those abilities can make the large characters even larger.
I feel like
Is it because they're afraid of what happens when you put all the stuff they already put for, like they I think the idea is that they balanced it for medium creatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure there are ways that you can abuse being large to begin with stuff like enlarged creature.
I mean, yeah, but there's also ways you can abuse being small, and there's plenty of small characters. Yeah. Like, fuck, you can abuse being tiny to the point where they actually, like, they nerfed fairies by making them small creatures instead of tiny.
I hate that they made the centaur a medium creature. That's nonsense.
No. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, I think the one time I've ever done fuckity like that is with the carriage cats. I made them count as a medium creature, but they have the carry and like grappling stuff of a large creature. That's mostly because like they're mounts for small creatures.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that they count as medium.
They're kind of a wildcat. They'd be medium sized roughly.
No. Yeah, like I don't think there's anything wrong with the creature being large. I'm gonna be honest, and here's the thing: it's D&D. If the players are allowed to cut loose more and get like nutty with it, that means the DM can do the same. I want D&D to be deadlier.
Oh yeah?
I want to like come into a session and be like, and whenever I get into a combat, be like, oh fuck, am I gonna die here? You know? Like, I want my character to feel fear of death. Because it's borderline impossible to die in D&D once you know what you're doing.
I just want to be a silly little goblin on the internet.
I mean, yeah, but like, there's no, like, there's space for that. There's campaigns for that. But there's, in D&D, there's, it's so hard to die. What's your question, Hal? What if exhaustion applied a negative death save modifier? I mean, fucking, it would require people to actually use fucking exhaustion as a mechanic. No one ever uses exhaustion as a mechanic. Whenever I try to, my players throw a shit fit.
But why?
Because, what do you mean I have exhaustion? It's like, because you just climbed up a mountain and then immediately went into, like, it went into fucking a fucking fight. That's why.
Yeah, I realized how little we take a nap in our campaign.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, like, it's because I'm not enforcing exhaustion like I should.
I mean, go for it if you want to, but...
No, because fucking then it's going to break up the... Because it's a show, first and foremost, so...
Yeah. Maybe it would be good if we had, like, a camp episode once in a while.
Yeah.
But that would take the party saying, hey, we set up camp.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, Lyndon, if you want to, like, be the change you want to see... Because I'm not going to, like,
I will. I will be the driving force of goodness in this world.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold a gun to your... I'm not gonna hold a gun to your head and say, like, take a fucking rest now. I'm like, no, like... Well, like... I'm gonna be honest, if y'all did go, like, multiple days without rest, I would start giving exhaustion, but, like...
Yeah.
Ugh. Like, the only thing I have an issue with exhaustion in D&D is that it causes death once you reach high enough. That's the only problem I have with it. But, like...
I want to play D&D.
Yeah, me too.
I miss D&D already.
Yeah, me too. I wish I was playing.
Wait 2 weeks? Are you kidding? That sucks.
Yeah. Hey, Lennon, are we playing? Are we playing on Thursday?
I sure hope so.
Good.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
You know what the worst part about making all of these races and stat blocks and stuff is?
Yeah.
I can only play one at a time.
Yeah. We could do one shots. You want we can talk about that off stream.
I'm liking the campaign that you're doing. I like that. It's just like I'm
stream.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. So I made the elf stat block for your game, and I really like it. I love my elves. I love like the concept of Lennon, I'm gonna give you this token so I can pass this save, and then later on you can be like, nat 1. I love that shit. I love that shit so fucking much. But at the same time, I kind of want to bring Sace or Breda into Karos as this type of changeling. Meanwhile, D&D exhaustion is disadvantage followed by death. Not to mention exhaustion in D&D makes it more likely to gain exhaustion. Well, I mean, that just encourages you to find a place to take a rest. Like, you're not supposed to continue fighting when you have exhaustion. You're supposed to try and disengage as much as you can to go take a rest.
How hard is it to get rid of exhaustion in D&D?
Pretty sure you can get rid of it with a short rest.
There's not like convoluted, like you only get some levels of exhaustion off at a time. Like, is it all at once or is it?
Hang on. Okay, finishing a long rest reduces creature's exhaustion level by 1, provided they've also done thing. Yeah, I'm gonna say that like if you take a short rest, it reduces by 1. If you take a long rest, it gets rid of all of it. That's gonna be my ruling. You need food and drink? No, that's cringe. No, just take a rest. Yeah, no, I'm going to say that like
I don't know. I don't like the exhaustion rolls, to be honest. I
That's why-
feel like they could be different.
That's why I'm changing them. As the Sephiroth theme starts playing, Jesus Christ. Yeah, like, I want to use exhaustion, but, like, I feel like the way I'm going to do it is, like, if you take a short rest, and if you take a short rest because you're a little exhausted, then that, it reduces it by 1. So if you're at 1 exhaustion, which, like, you'd get from, like, overexerting and then immediately throwing yourself into the fray, right? Take a short rest, like a 5-minute breather. But if you're, like, exhausted, take a long rest and all of it goes.
Okay, for real, Liv. This is adjacent to this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
We should just build our own TTRPG system.
Lennon, I've been trying
We keep
to do
talking
that
about
forever.
it. We keep trying. Yeah,
Okay.
I have several pages of notes on what I want to do with one.
Mm-hmm.
We should sit down and just compare notes and be like, hey, two heads are better than one.
Yeah. Fucking.
Between the two of us, we could have a whole conference meeting.
Yeah, that's true. I think my issue is that like I get scared when I have to like make my mechanics touch each other, you know?
I'll make up that shit.
No. Like for example, like with my one, like I wanted to be a very, very free form and I'm just kind of getting intimidated. I think I need to
Freeform in what way?
Well, like, okay, so there's no classes in my
I think we
system.
might be. Okay, we have the same idea, I think.
Yeah, there's no classes in my system, and your species is like determined by your family and your upbringing.
Can
like,
I elaborate on
yes.
my idea really quick?
Yes.
So what I want is something that's kind of geared towards like content creators, streamers, and stuff like from the get-go.
Yeah.
I want it to be very like role play focused.
Mm-hmm.
In that I want everything to be. I don't want everything to be homebrew, but I want it essentially to be like, if you want a spell, you have to build it from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Like there won't be a fireball spell. There will be a series of like information of how to build a fireball spell, but you could also be like, okay, this shoots a fireball and also puts them to sleep, and that would have you'd have charts that would explain what you'd add to the formula to roll.
Lennon, stop being in my brain. Stop it. You're just doing a fantasy.
Yeah.
You're just doing a fantasy version of what I was thinking of for a cyberpunk fucking system.
But there wouldn't be classes. It would all just be, here are your stats, and these are what the stats will let you do.
Yeah.
And then you just have charts that reference, like, if you do damage, you can either reference strength or dex, and this is what damage you get for what dice you roll.
Yeah.
That's another thing, is I want the dice to be determined by, like, these, like, a series of charts to make up what the individual attacks or spells or whatever would be.
Yeah. So
like, instead of having a smite, you could have, like, add blunt damage plus spell damage type thing on a chart, and that would give you the formula and tell you what to roll.
No.
And then depending how strong the spell is, you'd roll a certain size of dice.
Yeah. So
that kind of thing.
Yeah, so my thing is a little bit similar so I want a system where roleplay and stuff like that is very, very freeform.
Yeah.
But then combat is very much like, hey, here's how it works. So you don't need to you don't need to be like, oh fuck, how does this work? It's just there, right?
Yeah.
Very, 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 very straightforward of a system. And
Yeah.
like and once again, like I'm using Cyberpunk 2020 as inspiration because I grew up playing that. Cyberpunk 2020 has a bunch of items and cybernetics and stuff that just do not have any stats. It's just like, hey, here's what this does, or here's what this is capable of. And the idea is, okay, you've got it. Like, so
Yeah.
pain editor, for example. Mechanically, all it does is it reduces it gives you a +2 to endurance checks. But then you look at its description and it's like, it's literally editing pain out of your brain. I've had, and it's literally like, hey, go, like, use that, like, how you're doing. So I once had a player who was, so Cyberpunk 2020 uses a wound system, and once you get to a certain level of wounds, you're basically on death's door.
Mhm.
I had a player who was in a situation where they are just about to die, but they were the most combat capable of everyone in the party. And they looked at me and they go, hey, I have a pain editor, right? I'm like, yes. They hand me their sheet and they go, I'm going to turn on my pain editor. I would like to not feel any pain from any of the... Do not tell me how much damage I take. Do not tell me how wounded I am. Do not roll death saves. I'm going to get everyone out. And so combat played out. I would fill out any wound that he would take. And then at the very end of it, he walks, like, you know, like, the party has escaped. Like, people are dead and dying. Like, people are... But, like, everyone got out and is alive. Everyone got out and is alive. Everyone that's, like, in the party got out and is alive. Like, wounded, battered, bruised, very much, like, was in over their head, but they're fine. And this guy looks to me and goes, all right, can I have my sheet back? How much damage did I take? How many death saves do I need to roll? I hand him his sheet back. He's actually passed, like, so once you reach Mortal 0 wounds, you're starting rolling death saves. Once you get to Mortal 10, I think it is, you're dead. No save, you're dead.
Mhm.
I hand it back. Like, this doesn't exist, technically, because but he's at Mortal 15. His pain editor was the only thing keeping him alive. Because his body wasn't registering that it was taking damage.
Ah.
Yeah. So, so I hand him his thing back, and I'm like, yeah, you're dead. You're literally just being kept alive by the fact your body hasn't realized that you're dead yet, and your pain editor is going to, you know, turn off soon, because it has a limited amount of juice in it. Guy literally says his goodbyes to the party member. One of the party members, he was like, one of the party members, like, their characters were dating, gives his girl, no, sorry, it was a boyfriend. Sorry, they were, yeah, the character started as a female, and then, like, the player realized they were trans, so they then trans their character, kissed his boyfriend goodbye, and then just, like, is like, all right, I deactivate my pain editor. Falls over dead immediately. They did, like, the player and like, everyone's, like, going to, like, call trauma team, like, because in 2020 trauma team is just, like, basically an ambulance. You can just call it. And trauma team gets there, and I turn to the players like, hey, do you even want your guy to come back? And he's like, nah, like, if Mortal 15, nah. It would require witchcraft to bring me back. Nah, I'm dead. I'll roll another character. Trauma team probably could have brought him back, but, like, fucking... He didn't want to. He was like, that's where my character ends. My character died saving everyone he loves from a gig that went wrong. And rules-wise, that's not what Pain Editor does. But Pain Editor's lore, you look at it, and it's like, no, it could totally do that. And that's kind of what I want. Like, I want my cybernetics and my weapons and all that. Like, it has, like, here's what it does in the combat side of things. But when it comes to the roleplay, here's what it can do in lore, go from there. And then also, like you said, have space and rules for people to be able to just make up their own shit.
So, Liv.
Yes, hello.
Part of the intention for what I want to do with the system is make it genre neutral.
Mm-hmm.
So the same system that would, like, allow you to craft, like, spells and stuff, you could just flavor all of that as being like tech gadgets or, like, laser weaponry instead of a fireball, you know?
Yeah. And you could
but
also
it would use
have...
the same charts of just being like, does fire damage at X range type thing.
Julian, do you want to just merge our systems?
Well, that's what I was going to suggest, is we could just take what we've worked on together and then just throw it at a wall.
Yeah, and then you could even have, like, an optional like section, like, hey, if you're doing a fantasy setting, here's spells. If you're doing a cyberpunk setting, here's, like, rules for cybernetics.
Yeah, I mean, ideally would be all set up in a way that like would have that all just in a genre neutral way.
Yeah,
And
but
I
I
think
mean,
that's possible, but we'll
yeah,
figure it out.
I mean, you can flavor the cybernetics to be like lower tech, like
Yeah, exactly.
like in Berserk. In Berserk, Guts has a cyber arm, for fuck's sake. Like you know Berserk, right?
Bleh,
So it
maybe.
is a dark fantasy thing that's very very medieval. And
Mhm.
Guts is the main character. He loses his arm as part of something that I can't talk about because it's really rough. Um, and he replaces his arm with a prosthetic, but like it's yeah. Here's a picture of him with his arm. Um, yeah, this prosthetic. It doesn't have. I don't know why it has fingers here.
Yeah.
I don't know why it has fingers here. I don't. I haven't read enough. I don't know if this is like before it. Either way, right? His entire arm up to his thing here is a prosthetic, but like it's entirely articulated. It has the same dexterity as like a regular human arm. It has
Mhm.
like a built-in cannon. Like I mean, literally, he could fold his wrist down and a cannonball shoots out.
That's
It has
silly.
a crossbow. Like it is literally like a cyberpunk cybernetic, but it's in like a low fantasy
Yeah.
kind of thing. Oh,
Yeah.
here's a color picture of it. Here we go.
I mean, also see Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah. So we could literally just have like rules
Yeah.
for cybernetics and stuff, and just like have like a thing is like, hey, these are intended for sci-fi slash cyberpunk settings, but you can work them backwards into fantasy settings with your DM's permission, kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, we should team up.
No, let's do that like another day when because okay, what's your so my character creation thing? I wanted it to be based around like your character's species because it's a furry setting.
Mhm.
What was your idea for that? Can we make them
I
jive?
haven't gotten to that.
Okay, so I think I've told you my one before, but the idea is so everyone in my setting is it's like gene splicing and stuff is like super common, and there's furries
Mhm.
everywhere. But in a fantasy, we could just say that there's just furry people,
Mhm.
right? And so you get stat buffs based on your parentage. So if both of your parents were, say, Labradors, right? Then you
Mhm.
get a +2 to charisma, just for argument's sake. I don't really have numbers nailed down. But if you had one parent that's a Labrador and another parent that's a bull, right?
Mhm.
Then you get a +1 to charisma and a +1 to strength. And your appearance would reflect that if you wanted.
I wasn't thinking anything so like setting uh reliant.
Well, no, it doesn't need to be a setting line. You could just have like furry creatures. And then
Yeah,
you
but
could
you could
just
just have furry creatures anyway.
yeah, I mean, you could also add in elves and dwarves and humans and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you
But
could
I just
have
don't know how the parentage thing would work among all of that.
fuck it, just literally just have a setting where people can anything can crossbreed. Like
Yeah.
it happens enough in fantasy, and why? I mean, I'm gonna be it's a fantasy world. Why limit who can love each other and who can create families? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but that's adjacent to the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Um no, I mean like
Hmm?
for your setting it makes sense because it's a furry setting.
I feel like you could if you add like elves, dwarves, and like other fantasy stuff in, it could also work.
Yeah, but um like for a universal system it seems like
That's
for like
fair.
a genre neutral universal system it seems I don't
That's
know.
fair. That's fair. I
I
mean, like
I did have the idea that like you should be able to make your character whatever like species whoever you want it to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Like your character can be whatever you want
Yeah.
your character to be.
Yeah.
And then there would just be instruction on how to deal with the different elements you might put into them. But I
Okay.
don't know how that would flesh out yet.
Okay. Here's idea. So
Mhm.
it's no longer your ancestry. It's your upbringing. Basically, like we have like an upbringing thing, and that affects your stats instead. So like if you had like one parent who was like magical in nature, you get like a bonus to magic, you stuff like that. Like
I mean, I feel
my
like
my
that's
my
all.
my
That's all flavor, though. Like that's all flavor.
that's fair, but okay, so my argument is I don't want classes. I want you to be able to build your own class based on
No, same.
archetypes. So like I feel like a good way to do that without players like looking at it be like, "Oh, I don't know where to put my points." Instead it's like, "Hey, like was your grandma a great mage? All right, then hey, you have that like in your family history. That's something
You're just
that's available to
replacing.
you."
You're just replacing class with. You're just replacing the parentage with the class.
That's true.
Because I was thinking, and this is why it would be like I was thinking of the system as being more intentional for streamers and content creators.
Yeah.
Because it would be that extra step of work to make the world what you want for your content.
Yeah.
Because I think character creation would have to be a little more in depth than like just how D&D is fairly straightforward. If you have a like at least like D&D Beyond walks you straight through anything, like a brand new player can make a character.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, like I think
I'm really thinking that it would have to be somewhere along the lines of how do I want to put it?
Like I think it does.
Like maybe you have like putting in who your parentage is, you can explain away what your character is like because of the parentage however you want. Like that's just the flavor and role play.
Okay.
But maybe you just start with like you don't have classes, but maybe there's like archetypes.
Yeah, that's
which
what I
is
was
the
about
same
to
thing as
say,
saying
yeah.
a class, but like maybe there's just like
well hang on. Maybe archetypes are so like I was talking about this before on my stream before. So archetypes archetypes could be very very vague and then like
yes.
And then like so for example, like when I said before when I was talking about hackers, right? In my setting, there's 3 types of hackers. There's social hackers, there's brute force hackers, and there's jackrabbits. All 3 of them are hackers. All 3 of them probably take similar skills, but then like it's the specific skills that they take and that they boost that change what they are. So a social hacker, very high charisma. They're tricking people into giving them credit card information and passwords. A brute force hacker, that's your traditional like hacker typer kind of thing. A jackrabbit, that's someone who literally breaks into your house and plugs a bad USB into your computer. Like so they would have stealth and thievery and like thieves tools and lockpicking, stuff like that. Like I feel like we could do the same thing and be like we could have our archetypes of fighter, mage,
See, I think I wouldn't even go as specific as that. I would just go like, even like the archetypes being like physique, like almost like how Fable had like physique, dexterity, and
I mean
magic.
You also need to
broader archetypes.
Yeah, but like you also need to bear in mind that like people get choice paralysis, and I feel like giving them ones that evoke certain things. So, like for example, right? Like
I understand that, but again, this is why I was thinking of how I was doing it as like a specific niche kind of thing.
Yeah, that's fair. But like, I mean,
I
would want this to be something
I will adapt what I'm doing to what you want to do as well.
Yeah, yes. I would say that like this. I feel like if you just make it like streamers only, then you'll only ever get streamers interested in the game. Like you kind of need to like. Make it so that like normal people can play it too, and I feel like
instead of saying like fighter thief mage, it's more like the role rather than what the job is.
Yeah, I've been trying to say this for the last like 5 minutes. You keep interrupting me.
Sorry.
It's fine. Okay, so I'm going to use these as placeholders, and we can like work on it later. Like there's like stuff that evokes. So if you go fighter mage, cleric, thief. Actually, you might even not need the thief one. Actually, like your fighter one that can branch out to like what you would consider like. By the way, I'm not saying like this, you would call these as like from there you could go into like if you wanted to build a paladin. You go fighter and you go like through like faith-based stuff and take something.
Yeah,
like
totally.
So your paladin would be different from my paladin because we have different ideas of how paladin is, but they're all under the archetype of fighter.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I like the idea of not having like specific abilities that you can just assign to them. Like there wouldn't be like if you're building a paladin, you wouldn't be able to just take like a smite ability, but there would be a slightly more in depth, like I want my smite to do this specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
And as you build like your abilities, you just be like, okay, so I do this much damage, like 1d4 damage plus
So
radiant damage, and then it
Mhm.
would give you a little chart of like what to roll for that.
So I
I'll make a demo of this, and it'll make more sense when I can show you what it looks like.
Yeah, so my thing, so my argument here is coming actually once again from Cyberpunk. Sorry. So Cyberpunk 2020 has a very useful thing. So Cyberpunk has its roles, right? Its classes. So yeah, you've got your rocker boys, your solos, your net runners, etc., etc., etc. But the thing is, those aren't those are the default, right? When you actually get to your class, right? Here's your career skills. And then right here, it's like, hey, these are your these are like the ones that we made up, and here's just some more examples of ones that people have thing. Pick any 9 skills, not special skills, to be your career skills. These should be skills that directly relate to what your character does for a living. A rocker boy wouldn't have brain surgery as a career skill. Now create a special ability with your ref's help. Divide 40 points between these 10 skills. And like the arguments they have here is model/actress. They've got a custom skill called pose, because there's also rules for making up your own skills in this system. And then they've got notice, personal grooming, wardrobe and style, education, photo and film, seduction, persuasion, performance, social. And then politician is using the rocker boy's skill, but in a different context. Instead of being, I'm influencing people at a concert, it's I'm influencing people at a political rally. And then they've got notice, education, wardrobe, composition, persuasion, oratory, social, history, and library search. Like, this is kind of what I'm trying to ape here, where it's like, hey, here's archetypes that we made up for you.
Yep.
But so if you don't have an idea of what you want to do, you can just use one of ours. It's fine. But if you have an idea for what you want to do,
it's definitely a good idea to include that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
If you're okay with that, like just give us give archetypes of like fighter, mage, hacker, whatever, right?
Okay.
And like we would need to do. Sorry. Let me real quick.
Yes,
we would need to do archetypes that can go across like a breadth. Like if someone's doing like a fantasy campaign, a hacker wouldn't be super useful, but vice versa, a mage would not be super useful in a site. So basically, we would need to make archetypes that maybe are a little bit specific, but that's because people would want to.
That's where I don't agree, because I think we can just make things that are neutral.
Would you make like how would you
I don't think that you need a hacker. Like I don't think you need to have an archetype called hacker. You could just have like the archetypes could be more general than that. Like instead of being a fighter archetype, it could just be like and this is I think we're looking at different points in character generation is what we're thinking.
I think we are.
Because I'm thinking like the very base when you start maybe we should both like draw up kind of what we think the process will look like and then go from there. Because what I'm thinking is you'd choose like an archetype, and what an archetype in my context would be like an initial set of buffs to whatever stats for you to start shaping the class that you want. So maybe there'd be like a combat and like an intelligence and cunning archetype. Those would be like the 3.
Okay,
so then it would give you So then it would give you like, I'm gonna do like a combat archetype, so I get bonuses to endurance and strength. And then you build your class completely from scratch using individual like stats. And then when you get to background is when you put in stuff like the archetypes talking about.
Oh, you're doing background second. See, that's okay. That's where we're getting mixed up. I'm doing background first. My idea is you come up with your character and their general vibe first. So their background, where they're from, who they are, what they are, etc. You come up with who they are first, and you're like, right, who is this person? Well, I think they're kind of a fighter. They're a freedom fighter. Like they're fighting. They're fighting against an oppressive regime or some shit. And then you get to class, and then you build the freedom fighter class from the archetypes that you're We're doing this reverse order. I
think that the order I don't think the order matters though. The way that I have it intended, like I don't intend your flavor choices to affect your I don't intend the flavor to affect what the numbers can do.
So I'm coming at this from the opposite direction of I'm of the opinion that like make your character don't go like I'm going to make a fighter. No, don't do that. Go I'm going to make Greg. All right, who is Greg?
No, absolutely.
Like
I agree with
like
that.
once you're done making Greg and you know Greg's deal, like what his background is, where he's from, who his parents are, etc. And then you go, all right, Greg, how do I make you an archetype, Greg? Let me look at the archetypes that they provided. Do any of these fit Greg? No. Let me make my own. That's the kind of thing. Like I'm going more character driven, I think, than you are right now.
I don't agree with that. I think I don't agree that I'm not as character driven.
No. I'm not saying you're not as character driven. I think you're going at
I'm
it
just
from...
I'm just saying that the step in the process is just in a different order. You could do either of them. Like the way I would do it would not matter which order you do it in. If you want to develop the character and their identity first, and then base the class solely on those decisions, you can do that. But the decisions you make that are flavorful for the character would not impact what your stats can or will be. You would choose your numbers independently, so then your character, and then you can play your character justifying it how you want what your stats are. Like I don't think the flavor and the numbers should be inherently linked, because that gives the player more freedom of what that flavor is allowed to be.
Okay, but like at the same time though, if you're going through like if you're like once again, if you're making Greg the fighter, like if before the revolution Greg worked in IT, right?
Yeah.
Like now that's a thing you have in mind. So then when you're making the character, you're like, oh, I should give Greg some points in tech. Yeah, as an example. Like that's my thought. It's like that's my thought. It's like if you do the backstory first, you're gonna think harder about.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you don't have like okay, that's fine. If you can do that first.
Maybe we should just make 2 character creation packs. That's what Cyberpunk does. There's 2 character creation routes in Cyberpunk. Maybe we should do the same.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay. Yeah, but like your direction coming at it. Like okay, maybe I'm just stupid because I haven't eaten yet today. I'm gonna get a Soylent out of my fridge. Keep talking.
I don't think my direction is different. It's just I don't care which one goes first.
Why is there a condom in my Soylent fridge?
That's very strange.
I'm very confused. Lennon, I think there's demons in my house.
There probably is. You're probably completely chock full of demons right now.
Right now.
It'll explain some things, won't it?
Yeah. Hey, Lennon, I don't know how I got in there. I don't know who put it in there.
I don't know.
I just opened my fridge to get a Soylent, and it just a condom falls out. The thing is, it's a type of condom I'm allergic to. So what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Liv, it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters which one comes first. You're probably right. It's probably what? Are you okay?
I'm sorry. So my brain was doing the thing where it tries to fill in what you're saying, but it doesn't really matter how the condom got there. Like,
No. Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
No, back to what we're on topic about. No, it doesn't matter which one comes first. I think you do have a good point. Doing your character's backstory and having an idea what that is, that could be very beneficial to come first. I feel like that's sometimes a personal thing. Like some people will like to do that. Some people will like to make the stats and then make the backstory fit the stats they wanted.
Yeah.
The one thing I've noticed though of what I want to do with the character creation is that I don't really have like a rolling for stats in there. Like it is kind of just you make the character you want to have based on things. So I don't know what the limiters would be.
Could we have a roll for stats option though?
There should be. I just don't know what that would look like yet.
Lennon, okay, here's the thing. My brain makes this a D10 system, what type of dice are you wanting to use?
2d6.
What? 2d6?
Fuck yeah.
Why?
And some fudge dice.
Why?
Because it's fun.
I know, but the D10s need more love. But okay, we can do
Fine,
D6s.
d12.
Hang on a second.
Make a d12 system.
What if we just like made the system so that it uses all of the dice?
Well, that's kind of actually what I was thinking is like...
Wait a sec! Holy shit! Hang on a sec. Linden, how many attributes do we have? What are we using? Like the standard strength, charisma, dex, con?
No, hold on.
What are we doing?
For what I have... Hold on, let me look at my notebook. I have six stats for what I have.
Let's see. I have strength, adaptability, dexterity, constitution, and likability, which is basically just charisma.
Weird.
I
You
have
weird
5.
stats.
I have 5. I didn't want
I
to
have
call
power-
it. I didn't want to call it charisma, but like it's
Yeah,
basically
okay.
charisma.
I have power, agility, cunning, intelligence, stamina, and like whatever the placeholder for magic / tech is.
Okay. Oh, I forgot about int.
Yeah.
So I have 6 too.
Okay.
So, hang on,
what's your excitement about having 6 things?
Hang on. Okay. So I'm gonna write mine down.
Go for
Strength, dex, constitution, adaptability, intelligence, charisma.
What's adaptability for?
I'll get to it. So adaptability is a skill that you can use to improve other skills. So, okay. So, I need dice. I need dice for a visual. Hang on. On my end, the visual is for me. So we have D4. Actually, no, D4 is too small. Actually, is it? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah, we use the D4. All right, so we have a D4. We have a D8. We have a D10. A D12. A D6. And a D20. Lennon, that's 6 dice.
No, that's an insane thing to do. I know what each dice gets a stat. That's insane. That would be so uneven. You'd be really good at one thing and then increasingly worse at everything else. Potentially, you could also just be really bad at everything if you roll poorly.
Okay, this is why I'm saying that we use this as an idea and then we adjust it so that it's not batshit insane.
I don't know how you could do that without it being really convoluted. Can I tell you kind of where I wanted to go with the dice system? Because I had thought of the dice system.
Okay.
So, my idea is the players get D20s.
Mm-hmm.
The players get D20s for when they're rolling ability checks and whatnot and whatever.
Okay.
The DM has 2d6 and fudge dice.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that one because I think that leads to the D&D problem of the DM has a bitch of a time making enemies.
Why?
Well, okay, so enemy stat blocks in D&D, right? They're straight up weaker than players 99% of the time, right?
Oh,
like,
combat would have to be balanced to be the same dice
to
work.
So
combat would just be its own combat.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Like, once again, like using Cyberpunk as an example, I'm sorry. In Cyberpunk, NPCs are made the same way players are. Players are just as dangerous as NPCs and vice versa. And I like that a lot. And because it's a D10 system, smaller numbers are less crippling, but your bigger numbers are also more common. Because you're not, rolling like 1 out of 20, you're rolling 1 out of 10. Right?
Okay.
I think that we might want to have a system that's somewhat similar, so that once again, you're aiming at streamers, I'm aiming at like general use. No, but like for both people, I feel
Hi,
like
Virgo.
if the DM, hi Virgo, I feel like if the DM had the ability to just go like, fuck, I need a character, instead of like sitting through like making a thing, he could just follow the same character creation shit that the players do, except maybe like without backstory and stuff, like just like throw numbers at it. I feel like that would be a lot easier. Like, I need to make 15 mooks, run it through character gen, and then you know what I
Okay.
mean?
So the problem is you're jumping to conclusions about where I am meaning things to go and
I'm
what they
sorry.
are to do.
I'm sorry.
Because I did say like for ability checks and stuff, the players would have a D20.
Okay. I heard that
Combat would need to be its own balanced system for
yeah.
what combat is, so that everybody's on the same.
Yeah.
Like,
I heard
especially if we are doing that character, and this is how I want it to be. I want character creation and NPC creation could be identical because of how I want the system to be set up for kind of homebrewing in general. Like that
Okay.
should work. All of the resources we have put together for the one thing should be usable for the whole thing.
All right. I heard that the player and DM having different dice, and I panicked. I'm sorry.
No. I'm saying like in general gameplay, like say you're just rolling to check if you can do a thing.
Yeah.
I want the player to be able to roll a d20. The general idea is like just like D&D, like over 10 is generally succeed, under 10 is generally fail.
Mm-hmm.
That's there, that's fun. We tried and true.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
For the DM side of things, because the DM's gonna need to like, you're a DM. Sometimes you roll a die to just be like, okay, I need to figure out if a thing happens, yes, no.
Yeah.
That's where I like having the 2d6 and the fudge die.
Okay.
Because fudge die just, if you just need does a thing happen, yes or no, there you go. You roll something, it's either a yes or a no.
Okay.
And then I feel like with the 2d6 system, you have what? The highest you get is 12.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add just like a challenge rating to anything you need on top of that, like, and roll against that.
Okay, so basically, like, you want dynamic difficulty classes.
I suppose, if that's how that
I mean,
came across you.
that's what you just said. Like, roll the 2d6 and then add it to the difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
so that'd be dynamic difficulty then.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But with that, adding like with the dynamic difficulty, I find the 2d6 compared to the player's d20, just in my head, that sounds like there's some balance there. We'd have to put it to practice to test it, and if it sucks, it sucks.
Yeah. I personally, I like D10 systems a little bit more, but that might also be because that's what I grew up with.
That's fair.
Yeah, where basically skill checks are D10s. I like that a lot more because once again, like there's a little bit less variation, and your higher numbers are going to hit more often. Like
Or on the player's end instead of a D20?
on the player's end and the DM's end.
Okay, I see.
So I'm not saying you don't get the fudge dice. I think the fudge dice.
Keep the fudge dice, and then I'm down.
Yeah, I think fudge dice is actually a really interesting mechanic. When the concept occurs to me.
Wait, what's the benefit of a D10 over 2d6?
You're fuck, sorry.
2d6 prevents crit fails.
Yeah, but crit fails can be fun.
That's true.
So, okay.
I did have a bit of an idea that like different abilities. This is more a combat focused part, though.
Yeah,
different abilities to. Sorry, I'll let you finish. I can come back.
Sorry, I had a silent burp, but I had an idea for the fudge dice. So,
yeah,
fudge dice. DM has them. What explicitly does the fudge dice do? I want from your perspective. I want to know.
For the most part, it's to answer two things, which is the DM's like, does a thing happen or doesn't it happen? Mm-hmm. Just to have a set like little. I like having a die to roll.
Okay.
Shut up.
So it's a little dice that is it like what size is this fudge dice?
It's a little decision maker. It's a little decision maker die. No, but it also would be just in those instances. It's a fudge dice. when you roll a thing and you look at that number and you're not sure you want it to be that number, you roll the other one and you make it either higher or lower.
Okay. So what if fudge dice are a pool that are shared between the
Ooh,
players
fun.
and the DM?
Oh, hell yeah, that's fun.
So, okay, game starts. DM has 1 fudge dice.
Yes,
Each player also has 1 fudge dice.
like it.
So, and every time you use a fudge dice, you hand that dice to the DM. Now the die.
I have
now
a different idea.
Okay.
There's 1 fudge dice.
Mm-hmm.
The players have it.
Yeah. When they use it, it goes to the
They
DM.
use it. The DM gets it.
Okay. So yours is a bit more conservative. My one is more, hey, all of the players are using their fudge dice. Now that DM has 5 fudge dice.
Oh, I see.
I don't know if you've noticed, Lynn. I like giving resources to the players
I
that
like
then
that.
the
No,
DM
I
can then
do.
also use.
I do like that. I think that we should call it luck dice.
Luck dice?
I think because I want to have a luck stat, but I don't want to have a luck stat.
Oh, that's what
I
adaptive.
want.
Oh, sorry. I
Oh,
was
is
gonna.
that what adaptability is? I was
Kind
about
of.
to ask if adaptability
Yeah.
was luck.
Yeah, adaptability. So, the concept behind adaptability is less luck and more, how good are you at like approaching new things? So, say you had a skill that you weren't very good at, right? So, like, say
Mhm.
like you're not very good at lockpicking, but you've got an
Yeah.
adaptability of, let's say 10, just for argument's sake. I don't know what
Okay,
where
Liv,
stats are
I
gonna be.
understand, and I agree that this needs to be in it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's an essential stat for what we're trying to do.
Yeah. So the idea with adaptability is if you've got a stat that you've got no points in, you
Yep.
can then use your adaptability for that stat. Or for that skill, even. Or something like that. In some way, adaptability makes it so that you are able to do this one time. Like you get lucky, or you just kind of like figure something out. I don't know
have
exactly
thoughts.
the yep.
I have thoughts that maybe like adaptability would apply as any other skill as half of its value.
Oh shit! That
To make
no,
it-
that worked perfectly.
Yeah, adaptability applies as any other stat at half its value.
Yeah. So if you've got like
Well, yes, but then it would have to have a limit of how often you can do that too, and then we could have like.
What if it's a number of? What if it's just kind of like? What if it's literally like just like? I don't know if we're gonna have like short rests equivalent, but like once a short rest equivalent.
I don't know.
kind of thing.
Maybe it would be fine because then it would be pretty balanced because it would add to everything else.
Yeah, and it's only at half value,
Just
so like,
a little bit.
and you could
Yeah.
literally just make a jack of all trades character who's just like dumped all of their points into adaptability.
No, totally.
Yeah, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, no, if you have a skill and you're not good at it, you can take your adaptability score, cut it in half, and that's your skill level for this check. But
I think I know what I figured out the limiter.
Mm-hmm.
The skill that you're applying it to has to be under a certain value.
Yeah.
So, like-
it has to be less than your adaptability plus your adaptability cut in half. So if you have a lockpicking skill of 6
Oh.
and you have 10 adaptability, you can't use adaptability for that. Yeah.
Well, I feel like it. I don't know. I feel like it should benefit. Shoot, maybe there's like a jack of all trades like type of thing that could apply to it to make it work better.
Okay.
Like, are we gonna have like perk type things? I don't know.
I would say yes, because I'm gonna be honest, I fucking love building characters in Pathfinder because of all the feats.
Yeah.
I feel like if we had like a feat system similar to Pathfinder, that would be actually really fun, and you would have your skills, and then as you're leveling up, you get feats that kind of
like
like help you build your character.
And feats or perks or whatever would be
Yeah.
like
We'd probably call
the
them
things
perks.
the things that are like beyond what a human can do.
Yeah, like we'd probably just call them perks or traits or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
something
feats,
like that.
Feats implies that like it's like something like big and grand, when realistically these would just be like things your guy can do. So maybe there's like by default adaptability. It's like if you have if you have a skill that has like very low points in it or no points in it, you can substitute your adaptability divided by 2 for that skill. So if you've got 10 adaptability and you've got 0 points in lockpicking, you can make a lockpicking check with as if you had 5 skill in lockpicking.
Understood. Yeah, sure.
And then you have a trait that you can get later on, where you get the Jack of all trades trait. Jack of all trades. I'm gonna call it a trait, where you can add your adaptability to a trait, to a skill, even if you already have points in it. So like, if you have a 6 in lockpicking, right, for example, and you have the Jack of all trades trait, Jack of all trades fucking trait. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep calling them treats. I don't know why I keep doing that.
We'll just call them treats. That's
They're treat. Yeah, just a little treat. If you have the Jack of all trades treat, and you have like a 6 in lockpicking, you could then add 5 to your lockpicking, and now you have 11 points in lockpicking. Like, once again, like, no, these numbers are placeholders. We will figure out like numbers and stuff later, but like you see what I mean? That could actually be a really fun thing. Taking a baseline thing, and maybe like, oh, okay.
God damn it! We just reinvented proficiency.
No. Hang on. Jack of all trades. Secondary thing is Master of None. If you have the Jack of all trades treat, fucking, you can't gain mastery. Right? You can't gain like a mastery bonus in a certain thing.
Yeah.
It's like maybe we add other treats where it's like lockpicking master. You get like some sort of bonus or whatever. But if you have the Jack of all trades treat, you can't take any mastery treat. That would actually be kind of fun, I think.
Yeah, no, I like that.
And it would also be like, it doesn't make Jack of all trades an automatic pick.
We're gonna have to framework out so much so that we're on the same page of how things are gonna work. Like, we're so close to like having the same idea, but like it's this little details that we see are different shapes, and it's gonna be fun ironing it all into one thing.
Yeah. We need to like get together, probably off stream, and like actually just start like planning shit out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pick a day and we'll do it.
I don't know what's today's Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't make a schedule this week, so I'm technically free all week. I don't have to fix anything.
I'm usually free over the weekends, but like I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I'll have to get back to you because when in the brain council, the brain council has not been communicating, and so I've got a lot of D&D games that and I don't know how many of them overlap.
That's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's not great. So I might actually be a little bit overloaded, and it's gonna be really fun. I know I've got a Vampire the Masquerade game tomorrow that I also arranged a session 0 for my. Oh yeah, I got sponsored to do a thing in October, by the way, chat, and the session 0 for that sponsored thing is going to be tomorrow off stream. It also accidentally coincides with that Vampire the Masquerade thing because the Brain Council doesn't talk to each other. So I had to tell the Vampire the Masquerade people I'm probably going to be late if I show up at all. Yeah, it's great. Make sure your council talks to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you let me know when you have time?
Yeah, I will. Like, fucking, in the meantime, like, keep writing down ideas and I'll do the same. Like,
Hell yeah.
I'm just going to I'm gonna share this with you. We can just have a Google Doc to type shit in.
Yep.
Alright, a cookie. No. God, I'm gonna be honest, Lennon. I thought the chase was gonna take longer. I'm actually kind of like, I'm kind of running out of stuff to talk about. Damn, because that's not this thing that we're going to talk about more.
I mean, we've done almost 3 hours.
That's true. Oh, Lennon.
Yeah.
Are these stats fine, or are there any other stats you would like to add or remove?
Oh, okay. So I think we're gonna have to have a whole conversation, and we're gonna have to fight it out over these.
Yeah, no, let's have this conversation on stream. It's fine. Let's do it.
Okay.
Fill out this
So
last 20
start a
minutes.
new row. Start a new row.
Okay. This is okay. New row.
Or column or whatever.
I'll get. Hang on. Let me give you the. Can I share that? Hang on. Oh wait, no. I can just turn off the fucking play window real quick. Share. Anyone with the link? Copy link.
Oh, I don't want to type things. Are you gonna make me type things?
I'm not gonna make you type things. I'm just giving you this for later, or if you have an idea you want to type later.
Yeah, I'm not gonna click that because then it might show up with my stupid name on your document.
Oh, that's fair.
'Cause
Yeah.
I'm viewing it.
Oh, no. Well, very least you have it for later and it's pinned. Okay. So yes. What am I doing? I got a new row. What am I doing?
Okay.
Or did
here's
you
the-
actually want a column?
Well, it doesn't matter. I'll just give you the list of ones I have, and then we can compare.
Okay.
So what I have is magic/tech. I made them the same thing. They're the same thing. Fuck you.
Okay.
Power instead
Hang on.
of strength.
Hang on. Power.
Yeah. Magic, power, agility,
Okay.
cunning, and intelligence and stamina is what I have.
Okay. So.
What do we have overlap of? Okay, so we need I like adapted. Let's make another column and put what we're keeping.
Okay, so adaptability is one we agree on.
Yeah, adaptability for sure.
So I'm going to argue against magic/tech here.
They're the
In
same
the-
thing, and I refuse to
No,
say
no, 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 no,
otherwise.
no,
What's
no,
up?
no, no,
Okay,
no,
so
it's not that,
why?
it's not that, it's not that. It feels very, very specific to the point where it's a dead stat for anyone that doesn't use magic or tech. Like, if someone wants to make a fighter archetype, it's a dead stat. Versus intelligence, which I know is the boilerplate one, right? But intelligence you
Yes.
could roll into magic/tech.
Yeah,
and-
no, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Yeah. Like, and that way,
Yeah.
if someone wants to play a
We-
fighter archetype, they could take intelligence for some other skill they want, and it's not a dead stat.
Yeah, and then certain magic would end up needing like if you wanted to do certain magic, it would probably end up needing multiple stats rather than just the one stat.
Yeah. We could probably even make, like, magics that literally, like, there's a like, okay, so in Pathfinder, there is a Constitution caster.
Yeah, we're gonna make punch magic for sure, Liv.
Yeah, like literally, like, we could literally make, like, hey, this
We're
spell,
gonna make punch
this
magic.
spell scales off of this stat.
I
or,
cast punch.
Yeah, or maybe we, okay, Lennon, I know this is, like, coming, like, this is going off to the left side for a little bit.
Yeah.
Traits. Or treats. That'd be what we call it for now, because fuck it, that's funny now.
Yeah, go for it.
Treats. When you make your character, you get 4 treats by default.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
and there's like a pool of, like, quote unquote starter feats that you can get at level 1. And
We'll have to
one of those
to adapt this later, but this is a good starting point.
One of those treats is if you want to be a caster, it's picking your casting stat. And there's a treat for each stat. So, like, you could have Constitution casting, adaptability casting. God, adaptability casting would be fun. Like a spell that, like spells that scale off of your adaptability. That could be fun.
I specifically don't want to. Well, you don't know. This is fine as long as people without those treats can still attempt to use magic.
Yeah, they could attempt to use magic. They just won't be as good.
Fine, I'm down.
What if each casting stat has different... So, okay, so each casting stat, right, has different spells associated with it. So, like, a spell cast with strength is a different spell than a spell cast with int. But if you want to cast an int spell while being a strength wizard, you can still cast it, you're just not as good at it.
So, for point of where my brain is at, I would like to say that casting isn't like casting a spell, but is a term for this system that refers to a bit like using an ability. Because I want to still have this be universal. Like, I don't want it to be just spells. I want to, like, casting should be like if you want to use this in a like a cyberpunk setting, casting would be just using the tech ability.
Yeah, using a tech ability or a hack or something. I'm gonna just use spells as like the placeholder. So.
I mean, you could just say ability.
Oh, okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Abilities? Yes. We'll figure out the language as we go.
Yeah, but point is, I like the idea of like when you're making your thing, like by default, right? By default, like in is the caster thing, whatever. But like you get a treat that's like, hey, you're good at casting with Constitution. You're good at casting with adaptability, and that would modify your spells in such a way. So like a punch wizard casting Fireball, that's a melee attack. You know?
Oh god.
Yeah, like you see where I'm going with this?
Self AoE.
Mm-hmm. So it's a
Unpunched.
fireball that you punch with.
No, but no, exactly. I and this is how I want to build the system too. Is I want there to be like when you're building a spell or ability, like I want there to be a system of different charts that have like different damage types, have different like force types, stuff like that. So it'll be like, here's a box that says fire damage, and then it'll list like 1d4, 1d6, 1d8, 1d10,
and then different costs.
And there's different costs, and then we'll make up a system that, depending on your level, is what you can put into an ability.
And maybe the stat you cast it with has like modifiers as well. So like if you set it to cast with intelligence, it's your standard wizard spell. If you set it to cast with strength, then it's a punch. If you set it to cast with Constitution, then it's like a self-explosion kind of thing, because you're literally detonating your ball. Like as an example,
the way I think it would work is if you wanted it to be like, if you want the flavor to be that it's a punch that explodes into a fireball, you would literally go in and you'd look at the chart that says melee damage 1d4 and then add that, and then use another part that's like fire damage 1d8, and you put those together.
This is definitely,
and then you'd have punch fire.
I think we should get the rest, like the baseline stuff, worked on first before we get it, because I think we're coming at this from two very different, but very, like, your way is valid too.
Yes.
Yeah, like we're coming, like let's get the baseline of the system first, and then work on that, because I think depending on how the baseline works will affect this.
Yeah, I'll make up a little demo of what I'm trying to explain, because I know it's a little complicated without a visual.
Yeah. Okay, and I'll come up with the same other thing. So, okay, so intelligence we've agreed on. I'm gonna just cross out magic/tech so that we know we're not looking at it.
Yep, that sounds good.
Can I? How do you do strike through? There you go. Okay, so adaptability we put in. All right, so strength and power are the same thing. So what
power over strength. I just like power over strength.
What if we just make it like power/strength?
Yes.
So that
what I think we should do is decide what the words are in the end. Like, we'll figure out what the concepts of the words are that we agree on.
Yeah.
And then we can change what the individual actual word is, depending what acronym we can make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, power strength.
Power strength. Okay, so dexterity and agility. What is the functional difference between them?
Very little.
Is this another power/strength thing?
It's literally the same.
Dang it, Lennon. How dare we have different vocabularies? Okay, so cunning. How does cunning differ from intelligence?
See, cunning is like wisdom, but street smarts instead of meditation smarts. Cunning is street smarts to me. It's like it's practical knowledge.
I wouldn't be opposed
in this context. I know in the actual use of the word cunning, that's kind of adjacent to it, but in this, I'm saying the character's cunning is like.
I'm not opposed to having cunning as a thing, so long as we also have intelligence.
Oh yes, yeah. No, intelligence and cunning would be different. Intelligence would be like book smarts, while cunning is street smarts.
So that
Well,
does
no,
bring
that's not quite right, because intelligence is more than just. I feel like I. Do you understand the difference I'm trying to make without the words I'm using the wrong
way
words?
the way I'm understanding it is that cunning is yeah, like it's street smarts. Like that's I'm
Yeah.
understanding. Yeah, like it's like your character might not have learned it. Like intelligence would be like what your character has learned from study and research, and like general intelligence, versus cunning, which is stuff that they've learned through the School of Hard Knocks, basically.
Yeah. I I wanted to be in place as the wisdom type thing, but not wisdom in a wizardy way. Like wisdom as a normal,
No.
down to earth person way.
So we run into an issue here where we're already at 6 stats, and
Mhm.
we don't have a social stat, and we don't have a constitution equivalent.
We need stamina. That's my constitution with stamina.
Why stamina over constitution?
What does constitution hold for you?
For me, constitution is well, it's like the word, like somebody of a hardy constitution. Someone's able to take a beating and keep going.
I think I was mixing some of that in with what power was.
So in your mind, constitution is power?
Power isn't exactly strength as it is like the hardiness as well as the buff.
But then
It's
what if
not just the
somebody's
muscle, it's the toughness.
But what if somebody's playing a character that is not super strong? Like you can be a little wimpy but still be able to take a punch.
Endurance would be a good one in place of stamina to sum up it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's brought us to 7 things. Which is I don't know, like we don't have a social stat still. Like charisma.
Well, I don't think that there's like I don't know that there should be just a direct like this is the social stat. I think social that's something that D&D fucking sucks at. There shouldn't be just one social stat.
No, I
There
mean
shouldn't just be one number that says you're good at social things. It should be I feel like role-play encounters should have more thought on the DM's part of that stuff too.
I
So
mean-
it's like if the people you're talking to are more inclined to your other attributes than just your like say you're talking to a bunch of eggheads, they might be inclined to be more
That's true. Lennon,
they might be more socially inclined if you're intelligent.
Can I posit something
Yeah, sure. What's up?
is not entirely a stat, but is something that not explicitly a stat, but is something that you have to keep track of?
Yes.
Empathy.
No.
No?
I disagree
not?
as a stat.
Why not? No, it's not a stat. It's like a thing you have to. Okay, so.
Oh, okay. Then what? If not a stat, what do you mean? What is the context?
So I think empathy is the wrong term. Humanity. Basically, it's a matter of your character's mental health for players and DMs that want to have campaigns that explore mental health.
I think you could have like a sanity stat, but I feel like that should be like bonus rules.
So like make it a variant.
I feel like that'd be a variant rule. I'm
Like
not
that?
opposed to it.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, variant rule humanity. And then humanity is something that is like maybe it's a derived stat. Like maybe like it's derived from either way, it's a variant rule, we'll worry about it last. We'll tack it on when we're done. I just like the idea of something that I really like in a lot of tabletops, and once again, grew up playing Cyberpunk 2020, so that's probably where it comes from, is if your character sees enough like fucked up shit, you can literally just start losing humanity because your character starts to undergo a mental break. And it's actually really interesting, and it encourages you to treat your character like a person. Don't just throw them headlong into the most fucked up shit you can find, because you're going to traumatize them.
Cunning is your social stat.
Huh?
Cunning is your social stat. Cunning. it mixes in with it's like a wisdom charisma.
Wisma. Okay.
A wisma. No, it does. The thing is, it's not just that. It's like you'd have to have your other stats in there with it. It would be cunning plus something else, is how you would roll a social.
Okay.
Like
Okay. Hang on. Social skills. Social skills don't
oh no,
have
cunning.
Hang on. One sec. Social skills do not have a stat attached to them. The stat attached to them is the DM tells you which stat to use. So like if
That
you're
works.
or yeah, like so it's just like
I feel like
or maybe
the cunning helps though in that well no, because that's kind of persuasion-y.
yeah.
Like if
But,
you're
like-
trying to like convince you to
or-
use cunning.
Oh wait, hang on a sec. So maybe it's one of those things of like, hey, I want
I
to.
feel like it's largely going to be.
like,
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I
like-
apologize.
Like someone's like, hey, I would like to persuade these people. DM is like, okay, well, how are you persuading them? It's like, well, these guys are eggheads, so I would like to wow them with my knowledge of theoretical physics or whatever the hell they're researching. DM goes, okay, roll me persuasion plus. Oh my god, I just made Vampire the Masquerade again. God damn it. That's how it works in Vampire. In Vampire, whenever you're rolling a skill check, not just a social one, it's, hey, roll me this skill plus this stat that ties to it. But also, that's also just a really good idea. It's like, hey, this guy's a gunslinger. I want to persuade him. I'm going to persuade him by showing off my knowledge of firearms. So I'm going to use my... What if we just didn't have what if we just didn't have a persuasion skill?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is
Yeah,
like,
we just, like, it's just like, you're just
well,
using...
social things will be based on like the DM's discretion of what the situation calls for.
Yeah, like if you're talking to a gunslinger, like maybe you can convince him with your firearm skill. If you're talking to a scientist, you could convince them with your science skill. If you're,
It's straight up just going to be, do you have a relevant stat or skill?
Yeah. Like, yeah, no, like that. Yeah, no, fuck persuasion, fuck deception, fuck them.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, like D&D like leans too heavily on them. Kind of like Fallout New Vegas' skill tree, kind of. Yeah, because in Fallout New Vegas, like, God, you can count the amount of pure persuasion checks on like one hand. In Fallout New Vegas, most of them are like barter or guns or science or whatever.
7 stats is enough.
I think 7 stats is enough. It's more than like, yeah, no, that's more than enough. Especially if we consider adaptability as like, it's not so much a stat as it is it's not so much a stat as it is like just a thing that you get to use in place of a stat sometimes.
Hear me out for rolling stats.
Mm-hmm.
Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
2d6. Fudge dice.
Lennon, you can't give a fudge dice to everything.
I can. Well, I don't know. 2d6 is fun.
Okay, well, I mean, the thing is, how high do we want the numbers to go?
That is a
like-
good question.
I have dyscalculia, so I like the smaller numbers that come from, like, D10s.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Idea.
I like rolling more dice.
But
I like rolling 2 dice.
2 dice?
You roll 2 dice at once.
Okay. Alright. Oh, you know what? Hang on. We can keep your fudge dice.
Okay.
Okay. So,
The fudge dice doesn't work in this. No one would ever lower their stat.
No. Hang on. Okay. So I'm gonna take both of our concepts real quick. So when you're rolling your stats, you're rolling a. Can we make stats cap at stats cap like maybe like at 15 or something?
Wait, if we make them 15, then yes, the 2d6 fudge dice works for 15.
Hang on, Lennon, I'm cooking. Give me a second, right? When you're
okay.
when you're rolling for stats, right?
Yeah.
You roll a d10.
Oh.
And what you get on the d10, re-roll on like anything that's like, a 2 or below, right? Once again, because but that way your stats, you're at level 1, your stats can't hit their cap. With the exception, you have 1 fudge dice. That's a d6. And you can add that fudge dice to any stat.
I don't know.
No?
No, I don't feel that.
Okay. I don't want the numbers
sing to me.
Yeah, like I don't want my issue is I don't want the numbers to get too big because the bigger numbers are Yeah.
I feel like that just makes one stat spike for every character, though.
Yeah, that's true. Like my issue is like I don't want I don't want the numbers to get too big on stats because people with dyscalculia like me, like I mean, how
Yeah.
many times when we've been playing D&D have I had to literally stop for a minute because the numbers are overwhelming my head? It's more than
Okay.
once a session.
Well, before we put numbers down, why don't we figure out like what is rolling? What is rolling an ability check look like?
So, if you want to use D20s, we can use D20s.
Well, we don't have to. That's why I'm asking.
I would like smaller dice.
Okay.
Like my usual go-to is D10s because that's what I'm used to, but I could go for like a D12 or a D6 or 2D6 if you want.
Sorry, repeat that. That didn't register. I heard all the words, but they didn't make any sense.
I would like to use D10s because that's what I'm familiar with, but I'm good to use D12s or 2D6 if you want.
Okay. We'll go with your thing for now.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Just like 10 is a flat number, and
Yeah.
like it works very well with percentages as well. That's why I like it. Okay, so sorry, fucking hell just like flashbanged me with like fucking Jesus Christ.
What?
Sorry. No, hell, like literally it's a good flashbang. For my first game for your first game I DM'd, one player was assistant. I give them 6 D20 for their rolls. They'd be rolled in order of attribute. They ended up with mostly middling stats except for 2 of them. A reasonably high charisma, leading them to take Warlock, but a 4 in intelligence. Their character was barely sentient, and we all loved their dorky half-dragon boy raised by trolls. I love that. I love that. Man's brain damaged. I love that. Alright, so... Okay. So... So we have 7 stats.
Mm-hmm.
We could do it. We could either use the dice to make a pool of points, or we could roll for each stat like they do in like basically like you roll a d10 7 times and you assign the numbers, or you could just roll 7 d10, get a pool of points, and then distribute those. What do you think? Like that's the 2 that I'm most familiar with.
What if there's just not that?
Uh-huh. You could just tell me that you hate that as a concept, Lennon.
No, what if there's not rolling for the stats?
Oh?
But that's people like that. People like rolling for stats. That's a fun thing.
What
You
if we
don't want to
just
just take away a fun thing.
What if we just give people like different methods? Like give them like,
Yeah,
hey,
we can design more than one method. That's fine. Because
I personally like rolling for each stat. But I also know other people that like to roll for a pool, and then I know some people that like having a preset pool.
do you know what I really want to suggest, but is not a serious suggestion?
What?
We design an entire fucking table like Traveler has.
You mean like Cyberpunk Red has? Also?
Is that the same thing?
Yes, the same one.
Is it the,
and it's
is it the
awful.
one where you don't get to decide? You don't get to decide what your character is. You just put them through a bunch of years, and they develop how they develop, and then you.
So Cyberpunk Red.
You make decisions for what jobs and career paths they take, and then you get what you get at the end.
Oh no. Cyberpunk Red. You roll a d10, and that d10 you look at a table. You get your row. You roll another d10 to get your column, and that's what your stat is. That's what all your stats are. Every single one of your stats is that. It's awful.
Okay, so Traveler has this thing where instead of doing character creation in a normal way, you do this like role play session with your group where you basically put all your characters through college and you kind of try to get them to do career paths that result in the character you want to play as. But all kinds of fucked up things can happen in the middle of like that. You could in the older Traveler system, you could straight up die in character creation and have to start a new character.
Lennon, help.
I'll show you the chart sometime. It's actually really fun to go through the process
Lennon,
of it.
help. This is singing to me. We need to make a version of this that's for one. Like, okay, it's not like the default, but it's like one of the possible character creation things.
We should do that. Could be a completely like at the end of everything, but
Yeah, like
that would be
it's-
fun to
you
make.
get your stats by basically following your character. Lennon, can we have life paths?
I don't know what you mean by that.
So in Cyberpunk, you roll. So your character ages up to age 16, and then for every year afterwards, you follow a flowchart of like dice rolls and like stuff that could happen to make your character's life better or worse. And it actually has mechanical bonuses where like, hey, you met a teacher, you get a +1 to any intelligence skill of your choice, or you find a combat trainer, you get +1 to any combat skill of your choice. Like stuff like that can happen. Or alternatively, like you could be in debt, you could gain money, you could have someone who's like a lover, you could have an enemy, you could have a friend. Basically, like building contacts and inserting your character into the world.
That's
we
part of
find
what
a-
Traveler does in its building thing. That's
Can
all
we-
part of what
Can we
Traveler
have
does. Yeah.
can we have a system? Can we have a setting adjacent life path system at some point?
We can try and figure that out. Yeah.
Okay, so the character creation thing, this idea. We same thing, like start at like 16, go until modern, like your current age, right? That's part of like the default character creation. But if you're doing the one where you're using the life path system to figure out your character's like attributes, it doesn't start at 16, it starts at birth. That would be fun. But it would also be like a very, very like variant thing that you only do if you're like really, really into your character.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be stupid, or am I having brain stupids?
I don't know. I think I'm not like registering things properly currently.
Do you wanna take a break? We have been going for 3 hours.
Yeah, my brain's a little sideways right now, and I don't know why. Hold on.
I'll just put like a thing that's like character creation options, and I'll put like
Yeah,
and then we can literally come back to this later. I do like the idea of one, having a life path system to get your character more enmeshed in the world,
no, that's a good idea. Yes.
and two, having an expanded version that's hey, here's your character's life so far. Like, here's where their attributes fall based on their life so far. Because if your character has like a dog shit life, right, then like, hey, like maybe their stats are a little bit poopy in some way, but like they're really good in like a unconventional way. Like if you get kicked out of school, right, maybe you have bad intelligence, but you're pretty good at cunning. It's street smarts.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have been going for 3 hours, and I'm actually starting to lose a bit of brain steam too. Do you want to call it here, and I'll just like we could just do this off stream sometime?
Yeah, sure. We could also do
Alright.
it again on stream if you want to like kill a bunch of time.
I mean, shit, I
yelling
would
at each
be-
other about this shit.
Fuck, I'm gonna be honest. I've got nothing planned for Tuesdays.
I'm down.
My brain is usually in D&D mode after like Monday anyway.
Yeah, sure. I'm down.
Hell yeah. All right. Chat, thank you for listening to us ramble for fucking 3 hours. It will happen again. I'm going to raid out who do I want to raid? Fuck. Lennon, who am I raiding?
Oh fuck. I don't know. Gaz is out there.
Yeah, fuck it. Everyone, Gaz is playing Digimon. I don't know jack and shit about Digimon. Ask Gaz who his favorite Pikachu is. That's your raid message.
Oh, yeah. Who's your favorite Pikachu? Are you typing this up?
Yeah.
Or am I?
I'm typing it. That's
Graceful
your
Pikachu. Thank
that.
you.
That's your
Put some
raid
emotes
message.
in there.
Yeah, put some emotes in there too. All right,
Put some
chat.
emotes in there.
All right, chat. I'll see you probably not tomorrow because it's my day off, but on Thursday. Bye bye. I love you.